kicks. So he's a kicker of the football and going at 74% by foot, which says he's in the elite bracket. He's one of the very good ball users. They identify him, they try and find him as much as possible. And on the flip side, he's doing the job, Howie.
How can the Hawks work their way through Nick and Dermot, through St Kilda's elite, stingy defence?
Well, what they have to do is hold it. When they are in their own defence, St Kilda are very good at stifling ball movement. And if Hawthorn want the corridor more than any other team in the comp, so they've got to be a little bit more conservative. I mean, what we're looking at now is the regeneration of the club, the way they want to move the ball. And that's fine moving on into the future, and you learn the caper, but they're taking some pain with it. If you said we have to win this game at all costs, I'm sure they wouldn't go into the middle as much, because St Kilda will lie in wait for them. But one thing they do have to do is they have to score from centre bounce clearance, because they do have the edge there for pure ball winning at the ground level.
Roof firmly closed on a cool day in Melbourne. Marshall's in the middle alongside Reeves, and we're set to go to get things underway on a massive Saturday of football coming your way on Fox. Sit back and relax, let's be honest, for the next 10 hours and just watch wall-to-wall footy. And it starts off with St Kilda taking on the Hawthorn Football Club. Both ruckmen stay down towards Newcomb. Tries to get a hand pass out to Warple, who gets the opening kick of the encounter, drives it forward. And the impressive Wanganeen-Milera marks on the back flank, goes to the city side to the man that runs his house, as he told us in the pre-game, Mason Wood.
That was a great interview, Hal. He's a really good fella, Mason Wood, and extremely honest. So he's learned from his father that you run a tight ship at home. He's got the whiteboard, and they all have their roles and responsibilities.
A whiteboard about vacuuming and dishes. Replicated at my house, I think. Get the kids involved. Little hand pass out from the Hawks. There is the beast that is Nash and Bramble. Drives it forward, look for the first inside 50 for the Hawks. Too much on it for Koschitzke, and battles there. Just squeezed it out towards Steele. Back flank. Now Hill playing against the club he won 3 premierships for. Reeves in best position.
In front of Rowan Marshall. Had a great game last outing, almost a year ago, about 11 months ago. Saints beat the Hawks by 2 goals here, and Marshall had one of the best games of his career we've seen today.
Frost off half back. Hugs the boundary line. Really worked out for Bramble.
So you're seeing Sicily's already sitting back. It looks like the Saints have got 1 extra. So both teams seem to have a want for 1 extra in defence. Sicily's the extra.
Howard. And there is Sicily. Just does it so well. As good an interceptor as any in the comp. Immediately splits it wide to Amon.
Good chase by Higgins.
Makes it a bounce, though.
He's quick, the kid.
Weddle, and he hits it to space, if anything, is what we say. Battle, looping hand pass. Marshall receives it. Sends it forward. Caminiti gets Frost underneath, but again, Sicily is back there to Frost. To Nash. Clever hand pass. Mackenzie's hit by Sinclair, though. He'll know the game started. Now Warple gets his hands above the tackle. Weddle. And Newcomb. High ball forward. Favours Koschitzke, and he does well. He set himself the big man. He knew contact was coming, but held a strong mark.
Well, Wilkie actually came forward to try and halve the bet, because Dylan Moore was in a good position.
Short option works out to Breust, falls short of 500 goals.
So they were 1 short of defender there, the Saints, because Hawthorn moves the ball so quickly. Wilkie tried to hedge the bets and thought, I can get to either of these. One's 10 ahead, one's 10 behind.
Here's the Wilkie hit. Mackenzie, oh yes.
That's well done.
And got up.
Well done by both boys.
Luke Breust for career goal 497. Not to be.
Cam Mackenzie will know a lot of these boys very well, coming through St Kilda's academy. Would have trained with these boys a handful of times over the previous 12 or so months. He grew up a Hawthorn supporter. So very happy to go pick number 7 to the Hawks.
Long ball to the outer side by Sinclair. Comes to ground. Hawks have got the numbers. Impey, the man that designed this jumper. Newcomb shrugs and just barrels the ball forward and hits more. Just a strong player is Newcomb.
Well, he's... I don't know, hark back. I first of all think of Robert Di Pietdomenico. Not, 3 or 4 steps, tackle comes, shrug the one tackle, and I'm going with the next 3 or 4 steps, a disposal.
5 goals for the season from Moore. Just sends it a bit left. I reckon when he looks back at the tape and he hears you comparing him to Dipper.
Well, just the way
well,
he's a different one, but he likes to shrug the first tackle and then keep going with it.
Newcomb's going so well, I think Dipper should be happy you're comparing him to Newcomb.
Don't let him hear that.
Wanganeen-Milera. Low scything ball to the back flank. Mark Spilt. Battle applies the tackle.
It's been a really good start from the Hawks. Ground position. Got the Saints already a couple of times with that switch kick or coming to the open side.
3 inside 50s for the Hawks. The Saints yet to register one. A lot of players around the footy. Reeves just uses his strength out to Bramble. Impey needs to get rid of it quickly. Does really well. Hardwick, tough man to tackle, but they've got him. They've absolutely got him. Umpire let them go for a long period of time. Kenzie. And back to Newcomb. Had plenty of the ball early. It's good vision. Puts it out in front of Amon. He's got a little bit of space ahead of him. Leads come, but he elects to go by hand. Here's the powerful Nash. Nearly loses his stride. Doesn't worry him as he sends it deep forward towards Breust. But big Rowan Marshall, his big frame just floated across the pack. An immediate release to the outer side to Filippo. Takes a long time. Hill's there in support and he uses him. Brad Hill, a little bit too much on it for Blank, who looks like he's got the big job on King. He's out the back. Maxey, this is dangerous. Drops it forward and it's Gresham.
So what you have here, see Sicily's on the mark. He's actually opposed to Gresham. Higgins, when the ball's in stoppage, Higgins is Sicily's opponent, goes up to the stoppage, Gresham swaps with him. They do a straight cantilever swap and Sicily has to mind Gresham while that is under play.
I was at the boxing the other night with Brad Hill watching the fights, including our man Cam Mooney. Gresham plays on. Hit it as he would have liked.
Blank coming back into the team has allowed Sicily, the smaller opponent, where he can be that pick-off intercept defender rather than be a spoiling defender against a target player.
There's the Rising Star nomination from last week, Josh Weddle.
Played really well, Weddle, last week, Howie. Some really exciting stuff, particularly in the first quarter.
Towards centre wing. Good contest. Clark caught by a couple of Hawks. One's Mitch Lewis. He snaffled 6 last week in one of his best games for the club.
So it looks like the way they're going to play Mitch Lewis is he doesn't have a particular opponent. It's just where he starts. So if he's deep, it's Dougal Howard. If he's high, it'll be Josh Battle.
Have real synergy to be able to continue to work your way through that, Dal, as a defensive unit, I would imagine.
Yeah, the communication needs to be spot on, Howie, but at this level, you expect that to be ticked off.
Crouch, Clark. Comes out wide to Stocker. Bit of an up and under ball down the line.
He's a real find, the lad Caminiti, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Good jumper at the footy, good contest.
Still making his way, Derm, a young man, just playing game number 8 today. Had a few weeks off going back about a month or so.
But you recruited him to the club about 30 minutes ago,
Yeah.
so what you're getting out of him is awesome. That's a
Holding Hawthorn.
Hawks take the advantage. The impressive Day forward hand pass onto Moore. Little low ball is really good.
That is great forward play by Mitch Lewis there. He started on the inside of his opponent, who's on the mark now, and outran him to the outside, because the easiest place for Moore to deliver that ball is to the outside of the field, and he works so hard to beat him on the sprint on the lead. Good forward craft.
Coming back from a knee issue, 24 disposals last week, career high, 6 goals, career high. For his opening kick, it's an absolute beauty. It just swings in, and Mitch Lewis with the opener for the Hawks.
Well, the forward craft, as he mentioned, Doom, was spot on. He had to lead to the leg, so his original positioning was out of position, and he had to find his way to the edge of the ground, being the boundary side, to make that a simple kick for Moore coming in.
So we watch here now that they get the legitimate play on advantage, and Mitch Lewis is on the inside of the ground, and we look up here. Cece starts on the inside there, 2 metres, and he forges his way past him to the outside. That's the easiest place for the ball to be delivered to. He knows that. He gets there. It's a tough shot, but if you're good enough, you kick those.
Nice bit of an in-swinger on it.
A little bit of swing. He should be full of belief after what he did last week. Should have been 7. He missed an absolute soda late in that game. 6 was a great return.
Meek gets an opportunity, jumps past the ball. Marshall sends it forward through the hands of Frost. Here comes King, shows a bit of power. Max swinging a really high ball back towards the goal square. Bounced off hands and might have hit Higgins in the head.
Gee, got some knock on that footy, didn't he? He bellied it.
Well, good gather too. Now Sicily, usually good by foot, kicks to a contest to the outer side. Brockman will stay down. Boundary line.
Let's have a look and see if he does get one off the boat race. Oh. Yes, it was a double header. I think it got both their noggins. Old Meek up to the ruck.
Alongside Marshall. Marshall gets front position. Clark. Scooped out by Moore. Day. Wobbles the ball off the instep forward. Clean bowls everybody. Butler's coming back for the Hawks. Sinclair will be able to deliver for St Kilda and delivers nicely. And Filippo gives it to Brad Hill. Sends it out in front of the bench. And Hardwick, as he does with every contest, just makes it difficult for his opposition. And Butler nearly snuck away.
Well, he did well to work across there, Hardwick. They were out on the near side. The Saints had the overlap handball from Brad Hill off the half-back line. Just covered that exit really well to force a boundary throw-in.
Don't think you ever played in this jumper, Dal, but I love it, the St Kilda one.
Put me on the spot, I don't think I did.
Crouch wobbles into the middle of the ground. Brockman's there. McKenzie beyond the end of a chain, or he would have been. It was nicely done, though, by Stocker coming back the other way. Opens it up for the Saints to drive it forward. Crouch. And 5 to the 5 was Warple. Now Amon, he's going to go back and across. It's risky, but it's clever. Is it to Mitchell? He's had a good little period. Now he's through injury, Derm.
Good, yeah, he's a ripping kid. They've been waiting for him for a while. That's real hard work by Mitch Lewis. Ran from this side to that.
Brockman using a bit of body towards McKenzie. Butler rides him.
You touched on Seamus Mitchell. He's been dreadfully injury-bound for the last 12 months. And it was almost like they thought, gee, is he ever going to get fit? But he's got real exit speed, and they love that out of the back line.
Driving it forward now on cue towards Koschitzke. Goes the one-hander. Wilkie, tough man to beat in a one-on-one. Ball comes to ground. Ends up in the hands of Wood. Oh, big tackle. Nash, he's not a man you want to get run down by.
Guys, Hunter Clark's gone down into the St Kilda change rooms. Looked a little proppy on the boundary line. Unsure what his problem is. We'll wait for an update from the club.
Thanks, Sarah. Sharman is the sub for St Kilda, if you're just joining us, and McDonald for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's the monster tackle there from... He's so big.
He talked about the size of him in the pre-game. He called him the biggest midfielder out there.
He is, by far.
Yeah, Nash comes in at 198 centimetres and 95 kilos.
I reckon he's got to put the other foot on as well.
Yeah, he looks a bit bigger than that. Weddle by hand. It's a good hit from Sicily. Warple's got a little bit of space. Bangs it deep forward. St Kilda come in the air through Webster. Big fist heads towards the boundary. Sinclair tracks it and sees it across.
Been a really impressive start by the Hawks, controlling the stoppages, getting field position, 7-2 of the inside 50s. This is where you need to capitalise. You want to put pressure on the Saints early, get some scoreboard pressure on.
So I think the Saints' deep defence has done pretty well so far. Marshall's been back there, assisted them as well.
Moore shrugged a tackle. The crowd in as well this afternoon. Weddle shows a good pair of heels. Gets it back to Mitchell, a couple of the young Hawks. Frost is good to aim on.
So the Saints have got 14 inside deep defence now.
A lot of jumpers back there. Lewis sets himself. Wilkie stayed down. Hill. Steele. Wilkie. Crouch. Under pressure. Towards the wing. Good protection from Frost. And it opened up the mark for Sicily.
Well, he's already creating headaches. Sicily, by the way, he's positioned himself. Coming up for disposal number 7.
He's the one player St Kilda don't want kicking the ball.
It's a beautiful kick of the football. Meek. Big ride. Marshall. From behind. It's paid.
So it should be. Big grab. Second defensive mark, intercept mark, inside 25 metres. Well done, Rowan Marshall.
Big grab by the Saints ruckman. Howard casually goes back to Wilkie. And now Bradley Hill.
So they should have an extra around the midfield somewhere while Sicily sits back.
And inside's 50s to 2 the way the Hawks at the moment. Here's the third one for St Kilda. Mason Wood, the hard-running one. He's out the back.
That's your man, Howie. And that's what they've been waiting for and trying to set the Hawks up with, is that contest or that possession through the middle of the ground, which allows them to get that overlap handball through Seb Ross. They just got a bit shallow on their team defence there. The Hawks had no depth. Mason Wood sneaks out the back. It's only by a metre or two. That's it. That's all they need.
Very important metre or
And
two,
it's a
though.
very, very important metre or two.
Having a great year. He's kicked 9 goals for the season off the wing. St Kilda's best this year. He's a skillful operator. He's Mason Wood, and he gets the first for his footy club.
Well, it's a good response, and unfortunately for the Hawks, they've been doing all this good work for the last 14.5 minutes for no return or minimal return. And this has been the Saints' ball movement of 2023. They find that target through the middle of the ground, and then they are off to the races.
But it's Seb Ross recognising that kick. The forwards come up. He's got his back to goal. He goes past for that little give here.
Yep.
That's what gives them the extra 6 or 7 metres that gets out the back. Mason Wood's onto it.
Told us in the pre-game his game is based on 150-metre sprints.
Yeah. How many you got? I'll give you one, Howie.
Well, he talked about one of his teammates running, I think he said 17.5 kilometres on the wing at the MCG a couple of weeks ago. Him and Brad Hill dominate the 3K time trial. Mason Wood, fantastic athlete.
Great tap.
Nash puts his big frame over the footy.
He also spoke about his ability to mark aerially, get back and support defence, and then sneak forward at the right time. So he started on the wing. Now he's playing out of full forward, Mason Wood.
Crouch backs it forward. Free kick. So it's against Blank going the way of King. There's a bit of push and shove. He goes down. It's 50. 50 metres for the push by Blank on King.
Well, there's a time when you give another one. He's going to kick one, so if you want to go again.
There it is.
If he keeps going down, we'll be in Footscray.
Yeah, well, he's going to kick it anyway, so if he's going to take a dive, you may as well say have a real one.
I love how your mind works. How can you get a free hit in and not get penalised for it, dude?
Well,
That's an instant reaction there.
They're going to get 6 points anyway.
King, after a 100-metre penalty, drives it deep, and there's a bit of fizz about the game now.
And we spoke about Max King pre-game about how pivotal he is to their structure in front of the football and how he relieves a little bit of the pressure. He's just got one on the way past.
A little drive-by.
That'll please Derm. So here's the initial free kick for holding the man.
It's
It looked
the
like
arm
it was there.
around, yeah. So he's given the first little one.
There's not a lot in that.
He's gone,
not a lot.
well done, Lawrence Olivier. Well done to him. And James has given a second one.
Tearing the hair out of the coach's box, and our man Durham Brereton is declaring get a couple more in.
But that'll do it now.
Righto, last 2 for the Saints. They take the lead for the first time. King and Wood to reply to Lewis's opener for the Hawks. Day, Bramble didn't take possession. Day came for a second attempt, overran the ball. Burns is working hard at ground level. Sicily back to Bramble. Ball to be won. Saints have got the numbers. Crouch. Bramble does really well. Beat 3. Sicily. Clever tap there by the ruckman. Didn't take possession, just tapped it down. They've turned it over though to Stocker. Wanganeen-Milera having a great year. Just massages it forward nicely to Butler. He's playing against his brother this afternoon.
The lead on him.
It's King. It's King! Had his name all over it.
Cleverly done. I mean, King's done awesomely well to stretch up and mark that. But when we get a look at this replay, just watch Mason Wood's little body check, and it means that there is no clean run and jump and attempted spoil on Big Kingy. And Frosty got up and complained about it. But
Kick 4 last week after returning after the shoulder injury. Loved by St Kilda fans, this man. Big tall forward, he's kicked one. He's got two, pumps the jumper as he turns to the crowd. Saints 3 on the row.
It's a great response by the Saints. And Max King, you're spot on, Durham, with that little bit of subtle blocking and body work from Mason Wood to allow him to get first hands on that football. But it was all started from Wanganeen-Milera through the middle of the ground to find the target inside the centre square.
He just turns his head back to the ball in enough time there. So it's not a shepherding. You get a look at it here. Yeah, he's looking back at the actual mark, so he gets away with that. Cleverly played.
So now the pressure back on the Hawks, particularly their midfield that's improved. We spoke about them pre-game, about their centre square bounce work. Saints have stepped up their pressure.
There's Hunter Clark having an ongoing discussion with the medical team. He said Sharman and McDonald are the two subs. Hawks get it out of the middle, which they've done wonderfully well this year. Nearly lands on Brockman's head. Saints out of defence. Steele straight lines the ball as he often does, as he always does. Now Butler delays the hand pass. Wanganeen-Milera kicks to space. More than anything, Hardwick tracks back. Comes to Philippo. Now to Hill. Look for something in the pocket. Oh, just dropped short of Higgins, who fell to ground. Might get a free. It's against him for the leg, Higgins.
Just over-clubbed Wanganeen-Milera. Thought he wanted the shorter option, but just over-clubbed by foot.
Impey in the chain to Moore. City side wing is nice.
Not one-on-ones ahead.
And there's Sam Butler. Hawks running into trouble. Butler, McKenzie strokes one tackle, wants to go into the middle, hangs up to Warple, protects the ball with his body, picks it up at ground level, and he's got Sicily again. Sicily's got a nice space in front of him, he takes it. Hardwick. The Hawks have got Brockman, wants to go. Skillful player. Plays on. Drives it deep. Reeves is out of position. Coming back again. We talked about his hard running. There's Mason Wood at the other end of the ground.
That was a good passage of play from the Hawks from their defensive back pocket.
I thought there was just a touch overuse on the far wing, which gave a half chance to the Saints to dispossess them with tackling, and they went pretty close, but they were able to regather and regain.
James Sicily already up to 10 disposals with 4 marks. Talking about marks, it's a nice one on the outside. Philippo, exciting young player, picked 10 in last year's draft, wobbled forward, walks out right to Higgins, he plays on immediately. Little up and under, sets a task for Butler, Blank's a bit too tall, gets a fist on it. Hawks track it back, Impey, run down from behind. Gives it to Newcomb, who finds Day. Back to the man from Poowong, takes a bounce, just cruises out of defence. Brockman keeps it in, Moore. Shanks it forward.
That's a good result. Clever kick, cleverly taken out. Saints had everything covered. Their transition to this side of the ground was far superior to Hawthorn's forward players ahead of the ball, reading what was happening.
Hill with 7, Crouch with 5, Sicily with 10, Moore with 7. And the leading men on the possession sheet. Warple, McKenzie, Day. Up to Moore. Weddle has an option wide.
Even numbers ahead of the footy, inside 50. Now Marshall floats back.
He's going to take him one big hanger back there, Marshall. Look at the Saints, and again, it's Mason Wood using that height.
So he's drifting from the offside wing. Mason Wood and just rolling back to give extra support in defence.
Hill now through the middle. This is better from the Saints. A wobbling ball forward. Philippo, Frost. Steele arrives, as does Impey. Scoops it out towards Hardwick. It's got Warple, goes further forward. Amon on the left. Koschitzke's in best position. Floats across. Well played Breust to engage Wilkie. Gets the ball now, Luke Breust. Round the body. Sets an opportunity for big Lloyd Meek. Who's a lump of a man.
So what he has to do now, one of his senior teammates needs to tell him, hey, Lloyd, take the shot. I don't know if you're going to get it or not, but give us a chance to reload and set up behind it and at least play a forward half game.
He's listed at 109 kilos, is Lloyd.
Might be a bit bigger than that. He's got monster big as well, hasn't he?
Kicked 2 goals for the season as the big boy. Hits it pretty well, but it drifts and continues to drift further right.
Did pretty well there, Brock.
Sam Mitchell looking on, coaching against Ross Lyon. He was very relaxed with you both pre-game, the St Kilda coach.
Yeah, cuddly Ross.
Fantastic, wasn't he? See, that one there, Hawthorn need a hit-up lead on that, just to drag somebody out with them.
Reeves, Mackenzie's at the back of the pack. Grabbed away from him by Gresham. He'll get the free kick. Jade, not sure which side to go. Eventually chooses the Medallion Club side.
Lloyd, come off his man.
There's Lloyd Meek again. To Will Day. Good user, drops it deep. Again, Reeves is just slightly out of position on the kick, though, and Dougal Howard just...
Really poor kick. Yeah, that was a blaze away. He just got the rush of blood. I'm 65 from goal. It's play on mode. I'll fire it as deep as I can. Had a couple of options, half options. At least they were a better chance of coming off if he drops the ball short.
There's a couple of times they made it difficult for Reeves going inside 50, the Hawks. Webster.
Well, if you've got a bloke who's 6'11" and a half, I think he'd put it to his advantage up top, wouldn't he?
I imagine that'd be the plan. Up and under to the outer side. Marshall nearly took the mark. There's Wood again, who's playing beautifully. Hill with a chipping ball forward to Higgins. Plays on again. Wobbles it off the instep forward. Frost is there. Picks it up.
Hang on.
And kicks it in the direction of a Hawk, but Mason Wood's there. He's everywhere at the moment, he's M. Wood.
He'll swing onto the left here, outside.
By hand to Hill. Hits 50. Bradley Hill slides it towards Philippo. Just an important hand in it from Impey. Frost as well at ground level. Blank mops up. Sicily. Warpool, really clever not to take possession, just to tap it to aim on, and the Hawks have got a little bit of space on the outer side. Mackenzie, Meek, back to Mackenzie. This is good for the Hawks on the outer side. Slight fumble. There's options forward. And one of them is Breust, who's had one shot already today. Wasn't able to kick a goal, but you'd fancy him here, Luke Breust.
Oh, well done, Cam Mackenzie. He got the 1-2 through work rate to allow that overlap. Breust out the back.
Luke Breust plays on. And as you would expect, Breust kicks his first for the afternoon.
Well, we have a lot of discussion about the styles of kicks of the modern player. Luke Breust can do them all and has every right to choose whatever he wants at any particular time. That was a lovely passage of play from the Hawks on the half-back line. This was the conversation we had with Ross Lyon. They are a handball team, the Hawks, number 3 and number 6 in the AFL for metres gained through handball.
Well, the breakdown moment was when it could have been taken, the tackle, Sicily knocks it on, and he knows that if he takes that, he gets tackled.
So if the Saints aren't going to pressure through the middle of the ground, the Hawks will get opportunities like this. It just leaves Stocker in a really difficult position, trying to defend in front and be proactive, and just gets caught out over the back.
Breust with career goal 497.
Come on, get to 500.
It's a huge number for a small forward. Day. Nash. Very high ball. Warple can't complete the mark, as well at ground level to his mate Newcombe. Doesn't time it. Mitch Lewis bounces over him. Clean bowls everybody.
Well, let's talk about Luke Breust's numbers. You also have to consider the majority of his career was next to a couple other handy forwards that were probably taking the first option inside forward 50. He had to find a way.
Well, he's playing fourth fiddle.
Fifth at times.
Franklin, Roughhead,
Cyril. All those cheeky midfielders that were pushing down. He's had an incredible career, Luke Breust.
Kept the small forwards out of it, I reckon.
Howard, short.
You only want 16 on the field, do you, Tim?
There's Stocker, who's having a good year for the Saints when he came across in the Blues.
Been a great get for them.
I'm sure Blues fans will be quite as excited. crouch. Moments remaining. Big fly again from behind. Caminiti, who couldn't bring the mark in. Last chance for the Saints. Little ball forward. Well read by Blank, and he just bursts off half back. Takes some good meterage. Sends it forward to Reeves. Entertaining first quarter, though.
Well, if he can kick it like Malcolm Blight, he's a chance from him.
Well, he's going back. He's big Ned.
Well, his leg's about 2 metres long.
Well, if he kicks this, it's the moment of the season. Put your glasses down. Big Reeves, he didn't even try.
No, he didn't.
He didn't even try. Quarter time here. He enjoyed it, though, the big man. The Saints gave up the first, then kicked 3 on the trot.
Good start by Max. Second game back for the season. He was impressive last week. I've also been really impressed with the Hawks. First quarter, the way they've challenged the Saints with their ball use. We spoke pre-game about how aggressive and brave they are through the middle of the ground, Derm. And they've challenged him in that part of the ground and really asked some questions of their team defence.
Max has kicked 2. Luke Breust got a single, as they would. And we're ready to go with the Saints leading it by 4 points at the first change. There's a hold. So go the way of Newcomb.
Rossi Lyons straight away. He's got Mason Wood against James Sicily now, so he'll try and drag him forward away from that intercept position.
Breust is out the back. That's danger against any team. Look at this man on the left, Lukey Breust.
Wow.
That's what he can do. Top shelf, Breust to 4.98.
Well, it was a
crafting, isn't
start.
it?
He's just superb at the small forward craft, and watching Jack Sinclair work back into that defensive goal square. I think it even caught him off guard as he's coming through the middle of the ground, Jack Sinclair. He didn't think it was possible. He didn't sprint back to the line.
Well, he goes separate ways.
And then by the time he sort of gets there, it's over his head by 3 metres.
Was Sinclair trying to track Breust to start with and then thought, no, I'll go to the goal square?
Well, it wasn't his direct opponent to start with, but I think it caught everybody off guard about how quickly it happened. It appears like it was Wilkie.
So the natural way is the right footer turns and snaps on the right foot, hard on the boundary line, turns towards goal, but he fooled everyone.
Look at the names there, and Luke Breust sits 7th behind Roughhead, Franklin, Moncrief, Hudson, Matthews and Dunstall. There's some elite Hawthorn footballs, and Breust is there in 7th position.
500's a big get, isn't it? It's a big, big get.
As you say, for a man that's not normally targeted inside 50. Marshall gets a free kick for the high, so the Hawks take the lead.
A lot of room for King.
Sicily's in position, as is Wood, though. That's exactly what Dermot said. He's taking Sicily now, who just wrestles away. Weddle finds Bramble on the stretch. Sicily inboard, doesn't need to use him. Goes low, a little bit too much on a Brockman. He's got some toe, this man. Watch him go if he picks it up. Brockman takes a bit off the kick and hits Lewis. That's good end-to-end stuff from Hawthorn.
See, right now they should be clearing out, emptying out that forward 50 and give him options if they are on so they can widen the angle a bit. They don't, so he's obligated to take this snap around the corner.
Off 6 last week, he's already kicked 1 in the first. Mitch Lewis.
Not getting there.
Doesn't really time it.
So that is a shot which you've... an opportunity which you've got to make a better fist than that. 1, the kicker, and 2, kicking to a better placed person inside 25.
Long ball towards the wing off the boot of Battle. Well played by Filippo. Wanted to go, didn't have much. And then hits a very short ball to Ryan Burns.
So try and massage it around. Try and work it so you can get King into space with just a one-on-one.
Stocker had to be pinpoint and was to Wanganeen-Milera. He likes something even further wide. So they've gone the full switch to Howard. Does it open up inside 50? Good, strong lead.
Might have hurt his wrist here. Might have popped a finger, a little higgo. I guarantee you, though, he'll only get it tended to after he's taken the shot.
He might be doing that right now. We've been joking about small forwards and how many opportunities they get. You do not waste one of these. That was really well worked out by the Saints. They were trying to draw the Hawks out of that defensive 50 position.
22 goals for the season for Jack Higgins. And hooks it.
He's coming straight from the ground. Yeah, that's dislocated. not on the right angle there.
He was
Jack?
always going to take it.
Well, he would have said,
wasn't
well, it's just my left hand. I drop the ball with my right. I'll be perfectly fine.
Sicily to reset things. He's had 12 possessions already as the Hawthorn skipper hugs the boundary line and Newcombe doesn't let him down.
You've got to actually pay credence to how good that kick is.
Gets away from Day in a dangerous position. The Saints have got the numbers. Stocker, besieged by Hawks. Nash, Hill drags him down. Weddle, slick hands, back to Nash. Newcombe, cut off by hand by Stocker. Now the Hawks through Nash. Sends it down in the path of Lewis. Uses a bit of strength, probably too much. Held his man.
Good positioning there. Well played.
The Saints play on in a risky manner. Moore, always dangerous. Amon, back to Dylan Moore. Loves a goal, goes by hand though. Bouncing ball, Breust. Can they get it further forward? One more, the Hawks. Coming back was Battle. Looked a certain goal. Well done to the St Kilda defenders.
Overuse. Overuse there. Let's have a look at Higo. Oh. Yeah, that's a little sideways. I'm taking the shot, though.
Just wonder who he's actually showing that to.
Well done, Higo.
Hello to all the wicket keepers out there watching. Meek and Marshall. Breust. He's got two. He's got 2 goals, 2 now for Luke Breust.
Inside 50s. 19 to 13, Hawthorn's favour. Last year, the Saints won that 2-goal game with -7 inside 50s. It just shows you that they, historically, have been a little bit more potent than the Hawks. Oh, that's not your best.
Wanganeen-Milera sends it really wide.
Hunter Clark back on the field for the Saints.
Once was a time when that was a free kick to the opposition.
That is correct. That's what they all wander out of the kicking area, Doom, the goal squares. They also get an additional stat.
Marshall, Lloyd Meek, Newcombe, Clark, Burns, good tackle by Newcombe. Pinned the one arm, there's no way he could release it legally.
It's one of those distances you can crib and get a bit extra. He wants to give it off.
To Amon, tighten the pocket on the left. Clark looked pretty proppy out there,
Yeah,
Dale,
he's
to be fair.
not looking great. So we went down into the rooms, as Jonesy mentioned. He's had that left knee strapped. From the strapping, I'm going to say it's probably a medial. There was an incident halfway through the first quarter in the middle of the ground where he did jog from the field, went straight downstairs. It's a better kick.
Much better. Oh, it just gets through the hands of Caminiti.
Yeah, Hunter Clark, he looks a little lame, doesn't he?
So Cooper Sharman is the sub for the Saints today.
I like him.
Cooper Sharman,
He's a footballer, yeah, I love it. He jumps at the footy, doesn't he? Exciting to watch.
Clark is standing alongside Nash at the moment in this particular exchange.
Oh, well played.
Important tap from Burns, took it away from Moore. He was streaking towards goal. Sicily with a big fist from behind.
Hawks have done all the attacking in the second quarter. Inside 50s 5, 1 goal 3. Saints have only been in twice, and Hawthorn have repelled both of those attacks.
Jack Higgins is back on finger, back in place.
Thank you to Sarah Jones alongside Dermot Brereton and Nick Del Santo. Fox Footy Saturday afternoon on a big day coming your way all day and all night. Warple drives it forward. Lewis is in front position.
That is awesome clearance work from a boundary line throw-in. They went the defensive side of the throw-in, and there's a series of little handball gives, getting it to free space. A little bit of a tumble punt, but forwards who picked that off the boot earlier recognise it like a top spin.
Kicked the opening goal of the match, did Mitch Lewis, from directly in front. Kicks his second.
Well, it's great return from the clearance work, which we've highlighted multiple times, and you have to, because they've had 15 to 8 plus 7 in the clearance battle, the Hawks. This is when you get your best bang for buck. So it's via handball instead of a rush kick out of there. Wasn't the prettiest kick of the football, Derm,
but
it
forwards
allows your
don't mind
forwards
that.
to get there.
Forwards don't. On quick play, if you get a tumble punt, see, and they just protected that side, you get a tumble punt out of play like that, it's like a top spin in tennis. The forward gets to the front spot, it's always dropping shorter, and if you pick that early, you're onto a winner.
Cooper Sharman getting ready to go on. Hunter Clark just isn't right with that left knee.
Thank you, Sarah. Fortunate for Hunter, so Cooper gets his opportunity. McDonald, the sub for the Hawks. And the knee issue is too much to get through. Reeves taps it down nicely. Nash, believing he can struggle off the tap, goes the other way to Bradley Hill, who just snapped it straight off him and then lost it in the bounce. Amon. Warple, back to Amon. Burns, collared him, literally.
Well, that's not bad umpiring, because he dropped to his knees, even though he went hard around the neck. They said, well, it's got to be a free kick one way or the other.
He's looking for King. Frost knew exactly where it was going, then dropped the mark. Higgins, dangerous.
Just to go back to that decision, that is a great decision. The player drops to his knees, draws the head high, but the umpire said, well, you had prior, and you dropped to your knees, so cop the hold in the ball.
Yep, spot on.
Let's hope they keep going with that. That'll stop blokes dropping to their knees.
Bramble, locked in the pocket.
Loves to run this boy, run himself into a dead end.
Well, the Hawks love to switch the football. They set up for it, try and make some width across the ground to create little pockets of space. Saints have done well to slow them up once again.
Yeah, he's got Reeves v Battle down the line if he drops it on his head.
That's exactly what he looks to do, but it gets over the top to Big Row Marshall. Spills out the back though. Koschitzke, Warple, nice hand pass forward. Moore, check side, misses.
Underground handballs on there. Gee, the Warple vision to get the handball out the front was fantastic. They've got a bit to think about here, the Saints. They're getting tailed up around the clearance, and they haven't really got the numbers behind the footy to hold it up.
They've lost some pivotal contests as well, Doom. They're minus 11 for the contested possession.
Webster's kick needed to be perfect and was to Wilkie. Same for him.
It's pretty slow, isn't it?
It is, and they're trying to find better ball users. So here's the man, Jack Sinclair. That's not his best.
Sicily, yet another intercept mark.
Oh, he's a good ball user.
Drops a short one to Nash. He's got Mitchell, but elects not to go there. Wants to play on. Slides it forward, too much on. It works out, though, for Koschitzke, who just led into a hole that appeared.
Well, the player in front, I'm not sure who it was. Was it Breust? He just took the traffic with him and the eye line of all the defenders. So we have a look here in the bottom of the screen. Yeah. Just drags one with him. I think it was Webby went with him.
Koschitzke, 47 career goals, 2 this season, playing his 5th game. Jacob back in the side. Just slides it right. So a couple of missed opportunities for the Hawks. As you say, Doom, the Saints have got a bit to think about.
Well, I can't get it forward to the centre here. They need to find some chain. They need to... It's the second possession from this kick-in that is really troubling them.
24 inside 50s to Hawthorn, 14 for St Kilda. City side ball. Impey just spikes it to Breust, but you get a free kick in the end. Doesn't realise, now he does. Designed the Hawthorn jumper, did Jarman Impey, and Jade Kennedy designed the wonderful St Kilda jumper. Sicily
You can go back now.
He's up to position 17. Oh, here's a turnover in the middle. The Saints got nothing forward of the footy. Look at the runners go. Hill's there. There's a sprint on. Butler. He's got Higgins, missed him by hand. He was going to waltz into an open goal. They still might score. But Sicily's there just half a metre too much on the hand pass, and the Saints aren't able to take full toll of the turnover in the middle of the ground.
That was just brilliant, desperate defence and chase.
Oh, they're on out the other side.
Hangs up for a long time. Patnell arrived, does well on Impey, keeps his feet. Now he's got a few issues, gets it towards Gresham, goes off the ground, away from Bramble. Important ball, this one. Gresham, 4-4, Impey now. Moves it forward to Koschitzke. And the Hawks keep the ball moving. Squeezed it inboard, it'll work out okay. And feisty Moore. Game's gone up a notch.
And just this 2 or 3 seconds of treading water allows Marshall back.
And he's the one in the frame. And pass from Reeves. Webster just going to belt it out of defence. Where does it land? In the hands of Will Day.
Goes out the front. He's got players.
Sicily's his option. He'll provide a pressure. Drives it to the pocket. Good use of the body for Koschitzke. Pushed off his man and took a mark.
That's just good repeat entry set up from the team defence behind the football. Needs to go back and kick this, Koschitzke.
4 goals, 9 the Hawks. Plenty of opportunities.
So this is one where you've got to get more than just the one player, Mitch Lewis, on the line. If he goes around the corner, there's always the chance he could skinny it. He's gained banana, though.
So there's 3 major issues for the Saints right now. One is James Sicily and the way he's controlling the back half of the ground with his ball use and his intercept possession. The other one's the clearances. Hawks absolutely dominating that. And the lack of the ability of the Saints to slow the Hawks' ball movement. But it's off the back of work rate. And that last clip that we're just having a quick look at shows that the desperation of the Hawks to get back and stop what would have been a goal line goal from the Saints.
Crouched by hand, eventually ends up in the hands of Wood.
So he looks down the line now, and Sicily's 55 directly down the line from him, and that'll force him to try and take a different option. Oh, no, it won't.
Sicily's there. Doesn't mark it, still brings it to ground. Holds the footy for a while.
And the one, maybe a small positive with Hunter Clark going out of the game. Cooper Sharman comes on. He's a tall forward that can be accountable for James Sicily. He can have a role for the remainder of this quarter and possibly the second half.
Contest of strength in the ruck. Warple, McKenzie, clever tap to himself. Finish off his good work. Wood and McKenzie. Good game.
It is a good game. Hawks are taking it up to... You still feel like the Saints have got another level to go to. Hawthorn are playing somewhere near their peak at this stage of their journey.
Missed in front of goals a few times, the Hawks, this term. Koschitzke's missed a couple of set shots.
So the Saints can get better around the footy. Jack Steele starts to exert himself and the likes. They can get better. Good takedown.
James Sicily up to 19 disposals, going at 100% disposal efficiency. Will Day, 14. Connor Nash, who we highlighted pre-game, has also had 14 for the Saints. Liam Stocker's had 11. That's the most.
They're just struggling to cover the Hawks' height forward of the footy as well.
Wood. Sinclair takes on the tackle. Wanganeen-Milera stripped to the footy. Good pressure by Warple. He applied a couple of tackles in that exchange. He might still get the football. Another tackle by Warple.
That's a 4-on-2 in tight confines. Hawthorn out-muscled them with sheer manpower, extra numbers. There's a better want around the footy by the Hawks at the moment. They'll step up here, the Saints.
Amon finds a tiny bit of space. You heard the call. Carl. It's going to bounce over everyone. Now he's happy to see it to the line, and Lewis is happy to dump him across the aforementioned line.
That kick is so important now because it allows the Hawks to actually set up behind the footy. It traverses the true centre line, and they get to play a little bit more of a lock-in game. They've tried to equalise now, and they've manned up James Sicily.
You highlighted the Hawthorn clearances pre-game. They're doing it again as the ball goes inside 50. It's touched. Lewis is out the back. Good tackle applied by Webster. Dumped his man. Burns is the recipient by hand to Stocker. Higgins got the finger fixed. Back to Burns. Running out of options though. Impey floats back with it. The Saints ran away from him, so he got a bit of space. Hardwick, his kick. Butler did nicely. Here's a ball to be won. Outer wing. Frost is the one that wins it. Gives it back to Impey. Sends it up and under ball forward. Reeves is there. Gets underneath it. Koschitzke's had a good little patch. Somehow gets through the Stocker tackle. Back to Bramble. Frost uses the hand pass to Warple. Takes on the tackle. Knew he had the release handball.
That's better, Saints. Saints came up to meet the tackle this time. Rather than try and sit it back and win the one-on-one next level down, they came forward to defend. Well done.
Crouch is the recipient of the holding the ball free kick. He's happy to go back and across for Webster.
Number 29, Jimmy Webster, talked with the great Russell Green this morning. Wore the 29 for Hawks and St Kilda. What a life member of the league. A great player for both of these teams.
How's Russell?
He's good. Good. Green man. 120-odd games with the Saints and 180-something with the Hawks.
And there is the 29 in Webster. Wilkie. Brockman applying a little bit of pressure in the tackle. Oh, Sicily.
He's doing a brilliant job, Sicily, to get in line with the ball. That time it was against Jay Gresham.
It's an accurate 8-metre pass.
Deceptively big the way he plays, Sicily, as he gets another disposal.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
ACL, so missed a lot of 2021 and didn't miss a game in 2022. It's a remarkable comeback after a serious knee.
It's a great kick there as well. He just finds the option. And his stats of kicking, they're really good. But they're not as good as they really should be because he actually bites off really difficult
kicks. That's the first kick he's missed for the day, so he's just gone down to 95%.
Yeah.
Just personal efficiency.
Yeah. Over career, though, great
brilliant
tap.
kick.
Webster burrowing in and burrowing a bit too deep. Newcomb takes the advantage. It's very short. Wasn't far enough to Mitch Lewis. He knew it immediately. Gives it back to Newcomb, who set it all up. Doesn't have enough on it.
So that's that forward craft, knowing the best opportunity you are going to get and taking the shot. A little stiff on the no mark.
Moore cuts it off, coming back the other way. Butler back to Moore, steps inside, look for Big Reeves. He moved like a glacier after the footy, not his job, the big man. And now Ross, just to calm things down. No, because Mitch Lewis has got a hand on it. Leaps over a player, Timmy Watson style, back to Hardwick. His kick smothered. Mason Wood applies a tackle. Nice passage of play, this one.
So that's another one. Saints defence really good. That's two gilt-edge opportunities. Hawks should have had to score.
He's got a feeling this man on screen is going to have a few words at half-time. Spoke to him pre-game about the bye coming up, and they put it on the table during the week and said, hey, we've all booked a trip, but we've got a couple of hours of work to do.
Well, Rossi admitted he had to.
Well, he's already got 1 foot out the door.
And back to McKenzie through his arms, wide. Newcomb, Mitchell, read it back coming the other way. Here's Higgins. And how does Ross usually go in one of those addresses, Dale? You've heard a lot of them.
Firm but fair.
Okay.
Like your mother.
Right. There's a number 33 for the Saints, Patton. Wanganeen-Milera short to Ross. Middle of Marvel. The Hawks lead the inside 50s 29-16. They've wasted opportunities in front of the big sticks. This time the Saints go forward, too much on it. Butler, dangerous. Just waltzes through a couple of tackles, Dan Butler! And snags it. But I think it was touched.
You know what? That deserves to be a goal. For the fact that if you're a Hawthorn defender here and you miss that type of tackle, that's pretty ordinary. Oh, yeah, big touch.
Underway. Ready to go.
That's an awful attempt at tackling.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball is touched by the Hawthorn player. Decision on scoreboard.
So this is the opportunity now for the Saints. You can see the Hawks, just through those missed tackles, are starting to tire a bit near half-time. So now's their opportunity to capitalise it.
Beautiful long kick by Sicily. Patton's at the back. Reads it well. Sends the Saints forward again.
Great.
Nicely done, Philippo. Exciting young footballer, this man.
He's almost got the leg from here, Howie. If he gives himself a little bit of an arc.
He's not the hardest on his own abilities either, is he? He likes a little bit of the limelight, this kid.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, good on him.
He's a hard worker, Doom.
Yep.
I love the way he's applied himself in his first year.
I'll have to kick it from range.
You're going to have to clear the fence here.
55 metres out. Philippo leans back on it. Bang! 55 metres. No problem for the St Kilda young gun.
Well, it was a lovely finish from Mateus. But I reckon the Hawks will be really disappointed, Derm. They didn't man the mark where he took the mark. They gave him a couple extra metres, which allowed that ball to creep over the line. So he marked that ball just outside of 50 as you have a close look at it. So here's the mark. Let's say that's 52.5, 53.
Just on that little
Charmin
bit.
Impey is
what's he
inside
doing?
50, and it's clearly marked where he's allowed to stand.
No, she stopped him. She said, you can't come up now. The stand. You cannot come up to the mark now.
Exited the 5 metre zone.
Yeah, so he'd exited the 5 metre zone, and the umpire had said, no, you're outside 5. You can't come up to the mark now. I reckon he would have wanted to.
Absolutely. Either way, it's cost them a goal.
Call by you, Dale. You penciled him in. 50 odd.
I didn't allow the extra 5 or 6 though, Howie, when I said it initially.
So run against play, a goal against play there for the Saints. The Hawks have kicked 2 for the term. That was the Saints' first goal for the second quarter.
Having said that, wasn't it a great moment where the kid went, no, I got this. Good lad.
Also a young man that's aware of his ability, making his way in the game. Played all 10 games this season.
A lot of players in the centre. Spits out to Warple. He finds McKenzie. Puts it out in front of Carl Amon. Impey will provide the run. Gives it straight to his mate. Jarman. A high ball inside 50. Doesn't favour Breust, but it lands in the end in his lap. Just dropped nicely for him. He's kicked 2 goals, 2 already this afternoon, Luke Breust.
It's been a headache in this first half. So creative. Reads the fly of the ball. We're cheering him home to try and get to 500. Howie.
This is for $4.99 for Lukey Breust. The crowd will tell you everything. Just up and under. We'll call it a centering ball. Fisted to the front of the pack. Breust could still be in the frame here. McKenzie. Amon shrugs a couple of tackles. Somehow gets a boot on. It might work out to Moore, who shanks the kick more than Breust did.
It's turned into army football. Left, right, left, right. Carl Amon saw Moore out of the corner of his eye and dribbled it out to him on purpose. That's great vision. Sam Mitchell will be so pleased with the application of his team this first half, but they're disappointed they haven't put more scoreboard pressure on.
Yeah, could have easily kicked 3 or 4 more. Hawthorn. Marshall. Good fist by Reeves. Down towards Steele. Frost gives him no room to operate. Stockers had 13, Patton 11 for the Saints. For the Hawks, Sicily 22 at 91%. Newcomb 16 and Nash also 16. Caminiti shoved underneath the footy. Free kick away the Hawks. So it's another one for Sicily, Dale.
Coming up for disposal number 23. They're outrageous numbers. From a defensive perspective, the Hawks set up their defence to allow Sicily to be free. And then the rest of it's all by his own decision-making. Positions himself really well along of the footy.
Good hard running by Brockman to find some space. Newcomb wants it short. It's a little bit undecided, so just drives it down the line towards the centre. A bit more on the kick than everyone expected. Patton waltzed through a couple. Howard, Battle. Got 2 options. And it's King, who kicked 2 in the first. Wanganeen-Milera, here go the Saints forward. It's going to be about Impey. Oh, that's got to be a free kick. Absolutely cannon into there was Butler. Frost came like a steam train and collected the man that didn't have the footy.
We'll say he was going for the football, but he was prepared to take body with him.
Certainly did that.
Frost, well, that's what you ask of your defenders. Try and impact where you can. So he just shrugged Impey or got him on the little duck back. And then got absolutely bowled over.
Premiership player with Richmond, Dan, playing game number 116. 133 career goals, 14 this season. Played every game. Hits it well. And the Saints kick 2 in a row, deep.
Well, they're hanging by a thread, the Saints. They're being absolutely controlled and dominated in all areas, apart from the scoreboard. They fought hard in the back 5 or 6 minutes of this quarter. Frost will be disappointed with that contest because he did so well to get there. And then then ultimately just gives away almost a clumsy free kick, it must be said, Howie. It wasn't through lack of effort or desperation to try and support a teammate in Impey who was caught out. Dan Butler, along with Jake Higgins, have both had really good first halves of this football season. Gets on the scoreboard once again. Playing against his younger brother today.
And Sam, top 5 small forward goal kickers. Charlie Cameron, 15. Higgins and Butler featuring the Fritcher and Frederick. Tap to space. Crouch. Stocker. Big frame he's got, but he's turned it straight over to Mitchell. Dying moments. Can the Hawks take a mark? Webster gets an unlucky bounce. Straight lines into Burns. Looks to the outer side. Oh, nice one-hander from Ross. Good grab. Time continues to tick. Back to the man at the start of the chain. Entertaining first half this. The Hawks led by 14 points at one stage. It was St Kilda by 4 at quarter time. Then the Hawks, with a couple through Breust and Lewis, took the lead, but Phillippo and Butler with the last 2 in the closing stages of the first half sees St Kilda 5-4-34, Hawthorn 4-10-34, so all squared up. Stocker, the man that just had the footballs, had 14, Patton 12, Wanganeen-Milera 11, and Howard 10. For the Saints and for the Hawks, Sicily 23 disposals. He's taken 9 marks. And he's going 92%. Moores had 16, Newcomb 16, and Nash also 16. Inside 50s. Hawthorn continue to dominate that stat. They lead at 32-20. And if you're just joining us, Hunter Clark subbed out with a knee issue. Sharman comes in, McDonald sub not utilised. Sarah Jones is out in the middle. Jonesy.
James Sicily, what's the message to the team as a leader? You're playing so well, but you let them in late.
Yeah, we're getting heaps of shots at goals and getting heaps of inside 50s, but we're not capitalising. So there's a lot to like there, but I feel like we should be in front by a bit more.
The midfield and the handball game are both working really well. Is it a matter of capitalising on the things that you guys do well? Yeah, for sure. In that first quarter, their winger and their ruck were getting back and marking the ball, so we've got to focus on, because we've got dominance in the clearance at the moment, then we need that to come to ground so then we can get some pressure and have some territory. But lots of like there, really pleased. Just need to kick some goals. Lots to discuss. We'll let you get in there with the teammates. Thanks. All right, we've got a halftime show coming up after this short break, live and exclusive on Fox Footy. It's a tight one at Marvel, scores are level. Marvel, Nick Del Santo is with their coach Sam Mitchell. Del.
Hey Mitch, thanks for your time. What do you say to the boys at halftime after they've done so much right, but then probably haven't capitalised in front of goal?
Yeah, we had a bit of a chat about Carlton last night and how they lost their way after some goal kicking. So we want to make sure a lot of things are going right in this game and we're not able to capitalise. But if we keep playing in the right manner, then we should keep getting looks.
Controlling the stoppages in particular, are you happy with the way it's working, or is there something in there that can tweak and maybe give you better opportunities for the footy?
Yeah, look to change a couple of things at stoppage, hopefully being able to help us score a little bit more. So we're looking to make a couple of changes there.
We've loved James Sicily's game so far. How have you seen it?
Yeah, he's been really strong in the air and on the ground. I think his kicking skills obviously hold us up. But today it's actually been his handballing that's been first class. But they might do something about that, so we'll keep monitoring it.
Did you have a chat at halftime with the coaches, expecting the Saints and Ross Lyon to tweak a few things? Are you trying to stay in front of it?
Yeah, we sort of have to have a bit of an idea on what they might do. I think they're a good side. They're going to come back at some stage as far as the dynamic of the game, so we need to be careful.
I commented on those shoes last week. You're wearing them again. Very impressive.
Yeah, so Doug Nichols round, great. I think they're a bit better than yours, actually.
Spot on. All the very best for the second half.
No worries. Thanks, Del.
Thanks to Sam and Nick. The Saints with the last 2 goals of the half to tie it up. 5-4-34 to 4-10-34. The Saints getting a roll, or just against the flow late, Nerm?
60 minutes of football. The last 5 minutes, the younger team, the less experienced team fatigues a little bit, and the more accomplished team at this stage seizes on the opportunity of fatigue. Actually, thought it was going to happen. We called it.
Yeah, so. You did. Inside 50s, the Hawks still lead at 32-19, and we heard about James Sicily. He's had 23 disposals, 12 kicks going at 92%, 11 handballs and 9 marks.
So what we're looking at now, Cooper Sharman, who's a jumper. That's him just standing behind James there. He'll come at the footy, so he will engage Sicily in the air. It wouldn't be very surprised if he tries to play James from behind, actually.
He is on Sharman because Hunter Clark is out with a knee issue. Conor McDonald, the sub for the Hawks, yet to be injected into the game. All right, set for a start in the second half here. All square Saturday afternoon football on Fox. Marshall grabs it out of the ruck, taps it to himself, drives it forward. There is Sicily and Sharman. Caminiti, Crouch, early joy downfield. Someone must have got involved with Crouch after he got rid of the footy, and Higgins quickly put his hand up and said, the kick is mine.
You can't help but giggle at it. Every year you get one player who's got, we used to call it blinkers, like in the racing terms. They just see goals. They just understand goals, and he knows what happens in the forward half. He's so good at it.
Had a great season as Jay Higgins, the number 22. Starts out right, doesn't quite drift back enough. Lands in a dangerous area, though, towards King. Snapping, too easy for the Saints. They've got 3 in a row.
At the drop of the ball, there is 6 Hawks, and there is approximately 4, maybe 5 Saints. But the ball spills forward. King sort of shoved forward. Let's have a look at this little contact here. And that's a down the fielder. Well, there you go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 v6. And they do so well. He goes willing that one to come back, isn't he? Yeah, not great by the Hawks defence. But Ned Reeves, if you're 7 foot, you put the fist on that and you angle the fist so it goes over the line there.
Marshall was the one that brought it down towards King, who kicks his 3rd goal. 2 in the first term, and now the opener of the second half. So 3 in a row for the Saints, and they lead the Hawks now. Warple under heavy pressure from Gresham. Wood to his housemate, Wanganeen-Milera.
Got a flick in the eye, Brockman.
Oh, looks a little bit sore there. He's staying on the ground at the moment. Nice ball massage forward. So the Saints with all the play now. Wanganeen-Milera, a nice little step and a beautiful little ball.
Just calm. He was calm with the footy there, Wanganeen-Milera. You don't have to look always to the goal square. So that is, I know he's not standing on the mark. It looks like Seamus Mitchell on the mark. But that is Sicily's opponent, who'd already drifted back, thinking, I can intercept at the goal line. I can be one of those players to bring it out. Cooper Sharman just a subtle hit up.
Watching him in the warm-up, he was knocking them through comfortably from 40.
Oh, you mozzed him.
That was the warm-up as it slides across the face. Big fly, though! It's Big King again, and he's really putting an imprint on this game now, is Maxi.
Did a little skirting run. He runs a little half semicircle, and it allows him 3, 4, 5 steps and the launch at the footy.
The adulation in the eyes of Saints fans watching on this man. Max King looking for 4. Max, 2 in a minute.
Well, he thought his way through that. Snapped really well. I'm always interested, Derm, in whether they go the right-footed check side being their preferred side or left foot, opposite foot across the body.
Let's have a look at that.
It was about this initial mark, Derm.
Yeah, watch this little, he just gets away and it allows him 2, 3 steps and a launch.
So the defenders from the Hawks be really disappointed. Got to take that body early, not allow Max to get to the contest, or at least take away the launch.
So he got separated there, James Blank. He came from the other side of the pack. You've really got to put shoulder into Max King and keep pushing him and stop that launch, because he gets the ball so high off the ground.
4 goals to Max, 2-2 to Breust, and the Hawks haven't touched the football in the term.
That's not right. It's not ideal.
No. Marshall.
Oh, 1 in the head.
I don't know if that counts as a stat in the head of Warple. They still haven't got a hand on it. Wanganeen-Milera will grab it out of the middle, kicks it to the umpy, who's had 1 more touch than the Hawks. Now they make up for it. McKenzie. Day. Brockman keeps the ball in. He was well out, but the ball was in. Working in tight spaces, the impressive Day. Spirals it forward. Webster's in position. Koschitzke does well to spoil the mark attempt. Butler Gets away from Patton, waits for something, waits, and finds McKenzie. Hand pass to Eamon. Pulls the trigger on a kick. He's got two options. One is Brockman. He's got some toe, but not quite enough on the skinny side to run around the man on the mark with the boundary.
Yeah, you were thinking the same thing. If there's more width, you can see. Yeah, there we go. Now.
That's gone no more than 6 metres.
You're dead right.
6 metres.
You're dead right. And he's not without a sneaky chance here.
Well, he called from it from about 25 metres away, Sicily. We've highlighted how good he is kicking. Oh, Sicily unloads. Started right, though. Had the distance. The Saints actually didn't defend Sicily overly tight, knowing that he was almost shoulder to shoulder with the ball carrier.
Miller to Crouch, takes a one-handed bounce. Takes his time before he spots something down the line. That is Sharman. Frost gets front position. Sharman gets the ball. Looped out the back to Higgins. Thrown aside in the tackle. Too much on it for Nash. Chance now for the Saints with a high ball. It's an indiscriminate kick, but Marshall's underneath it. Coming was Caminiti. Put a hand up towards it. Wood, who just runs and runs and runs. It's a nice tap on it. Does Mason.
It's a time for Brockman to actually go and make body contact, and that was it.
Steele's got options. Caminiti.
Well played, Saints.
Yeah, Mason Wood wanted that ball more than Brockman.
Yeah, you know what? It's such a well-worn term, and sometimes it's not, most often it's not applicable, but then it was. Mason Wood willed himself onto that ball more than Brockman actually wanted to go in and make contact to halve the contest.
This is the other man that was having shots that I saw alongside Sharman. I'm not going to tell you how he went, but he lines up from 52. Caminiti hits it pretty well. Right to the top of the square. St Kilda in the marking frame there. It's a barrel from Bramble. Trying to clear defence. Battle, though. Well done by Moore to spoil the marking attempt. Looked like Battle had it. Well, needing to get rid of it there. Hill gets his man.
Great work rate from Brad Hill. Love that contest from Moore, though. That was Battle's ball all the way.
And down Butler. Immediately Hill to Crouch. Chips it inside towards King. Why wouldn't you? Sicily there. Yet another intercept mark. They made him pay for it, though.
They've had a few words, Max King and James Sicily. There was a bit going on in the first quarter. Max was like, well, try and get one back here.
Half a nasty push in the back then, wasn't it? Really took him when he was off balance.
Frost. For the 1-2 is Mitchell. Bramble doesn't require it. Takes it himself. Slides one down the line. Good use of the body. Ends up in the hands of Butler. Sends it deep forward. Brockman, we talked about his toe. He'll play on Brockman and break a run of 4.
Well, a clever handball on the outside of the ground. I think it was Jacob Koschitzke took the mark, just nudged his opponent under. And we watch it here. But he gives off the quick handball, and that's why the ball's in motion. Looks like Butler then unloads, and he does have some toe, and he's got talent all over. He's a good player, Brockman. Well, he's toned for that last indiscretion.
It highlights the point, Doom, of your previous one about how quick he can be if he thinks he can get the football. He wasn't running that fast on centre wing moments earlier, but running back towards goal really challenged the Saints to chase him.
And the famous 33 worn by the 4-time premiership star Cyril Rioli.
It's gone all gushy now.
Oh, I feel you do. Ross puts his head over the footy. Crouch always does, as did Hardwick. 3 tough fellas there. Warple adds to the group. Day, that's class. He feigned the hand pass, then scooted through a little gap. Getting it back is Moore. Good little patch for the Hawks. Brockman's deep again. Might not need him. Post.
So they're starting to win the ball again around the stoppage, and they're winning some of those 50-50 contests, the Hawks.
Webster with a forward hand pass. We'll get it back to Jimmy. Has to place a kick on the left.
Well, it was well worked out in the end from Jimmy Webster. who refused to step over the line and force the play on. They get the ball to centre wing, the Saints.
Filippo just readjusting his boot.
How valuable is it someone like Day who steps out the front of that congestion over on the other
So much
back
pressure
flank.
on those defenders. Spot on to him.
There are midfielders who accumulate the footy and then they retreat to the back line side of the stoppage and then hoik the ball forward. And then there are the real good ones who step out the front way, and they are the ones that backmen hate in the opposition.
Darren Burrett, Nick Del Santo, Sarah Jones, Saturday afternoon footy on Fox. Wall-to-wall footy today. Afternoon into the evening to keep you going on a Saturday.
Great pass.
Works out well. Hacked out of mid-air. Goes to Sharman. Plays on with a wobbling mongrel forward. Gets through Impey. It was a tough one to read off the boot. Here is the man Durham was highlighting. Will Day kicks it straight back to Sharman, who goes inside. Good contest, but Bramble wins it in the air against Burns. Frost kicks it straight to Battle. He tries to get it to Hill, gets it back to Battle, finds a space. Bit of a check side.
Come on, Joshy. He's a ripper, Josh Battle, isn't he? He's just a great bloke.
And after that kick, he can run to the other end of the ground too.
Great contest player.
We often have a lot of fun with Frosty. But when Frosty gets the ball, if I'm a teammate, I'm starting to defend because it's most likely going to come back the other way. I'm finding an opponent, Howie.
I love watching him play because something's happening.
Yep.
And it's not the usual.
Expect the unexpected.
Aim on.
That's a great kick.
Centre-half back. Hawk switch to the outer side. Needs to be precise, and he is. To Weddle. Wants to immediately release Butler. An issue here with Hill, who just corrals him. Doesn't overcommit. Back to Weddle. Arches his back. He's got a bit of Nick Blakey to him.
A little bit of pace, hasn't he, for a 6'3"er?
Sends it deep forward. Big pack. Sharman with a big fish from behind. Clean bowls everybody. Ends up in the hands of Eamon. Tries to squeeze one to Mitchell Lewis.
That's a delightful left foot to lead to. Don't have to deviate too far. And Carl Eamon has the football. Identifies space. Sees Lewis leading at him full-chested.
But
it's self-organised.
The ball's down there because of Weddle. I mean, that ball gets coughed up. It gets held in on the half-back line. But Weddle takes the bit between the teeth, plays on and uses his pace to drive the ball forward.
Lewis for a third for the afternoon. It's coming, but it started skinny and didn't have enough.
He's got so much upside, this young man. He's missed a lot of footy.
Sicily clatters into Higgins. Spills out the back. It'll work out okay for the Saints. They've got runners in pattern. Butler had to delay it. He was well defended. Spits out to the hard-running wingman Wood. Goes inside 50. Impey wants front position in front of Burns.
The Saints supporters want to throw.
I think they're going to. Well, they have. They've got insufficient intent, which it appeared from here. Durham is facing the boundary line and got it over the line.
Well done, Saints. What did Richo call that?
Is it noise of
affirmation? He's had a good year, Ryan Burns.
2 goals for the season. For Burns.
Great kick.
Yeah, really well finished. 3rd goal of the term for St Kilda, and they just eke out the margin again.
Well, we've been complimenting Mason Wood for his work rate, his ability to get up and back, and this is the man on the other side of the wing that Mason referred to, going back to the MCG game against the Bombers. He ran just under 18 kilometres, which is just outrageous sort of numbers. It plays such a pivotal role for the Saints structure. It wasn't actually a handball from Impey, it was just a tap, but it was in a awkward position, back pocket. Yeah, it's still insufficient intent.
Yeah, that's a free kick.
Accidentally on purpose. That's a lovely finish once again.
Saw as he turned around, he directly made no eye contact with the umpires there. You just think we could just
you reckon that's the giveaway?
Absolutely.
Hey, you're not looking at me, I know what you're up to.
Like when you snick it behind him, you never look at the umpire. That's what he was doing there, Jay. Impey didn't get away with it, though.
You just don't go into your practice shot again?
That's it. Just avoid all eye contact. Ross, Day.
Great tackle.
Nash follows it up.
So they've got Reeves sitting in front of the football. He's got Wilkie as an opponent.
Meek didn't get rid of it correctly. Hill didn't take the advantage. Good decision. Caminiti. Didn't really get much distance on it. Big fly from behind was
There's a mark.
Sharman. Higgins treads on a couple of players to get the footy. Now Battle. Had to release extremely quickly there, Crouch, and the Hawks get it coming the other way. Day takes his time. Now sends it out into space. He was going to be running back with a flight. Doesn't get the bounce he was after. Taps it in front of himself. Moore. Got Weddle in support. Doesn't use. Got one high.
And he dipped the shoulder into that.
The Hawks down the outer side now. Running low. Driving ball. Mitchell hasn't kicked a career goal. Still hasn't.
Just came on. Jack Sinclair off the interchange.
Wilkie, no bullet.
Well, he came on because Crouch has come from the field. He looks like he's hopefully just winded by the way that he's walking, but he's not overly comfortable.
That's the second punishing attempted spoil Sicily's made out on this flank in the last 5 minutes.
Higgins. A big Lloyd is there. Caminiti disappointed with himself. Outsized though, most are. When you take on Lloyd Meek. Sicily, disposal number 26. Gets out the back, Mitch Lewis. After it, does well to keep it in play. Battle, tricky ball to bounce, to pick up, but Mitch Lewis got him high. Saints take the advantage. No, they don't. Ross in the end says, no, sorry.
Inside 50s, third quarter, 7 apiece. The Saints have gone 3 straight goals. Hawks 1 goal 3.
Hawks lead that stat 39-26 for the match. Burns, Mitchell.
So you saw there when the Saints were just waltzing the ball out, and Dougal Howard waltzes out. That's what happened when you got Reed playing forward to the footy. He might be able to outstretch you, but he can't chase. So Howard's under no pressure. It looks like Tyler Brockman's been given the Guernsey to sit out the rest of the game.
Just rested or an injury, Sarah Jones?
That's just a tactical substitution, guys.
Thanks, Jonesy.
Well, that's half dangerous. One way or the other, holding the ball or dangerous tackle.
Marshall, Ross. Bright orange boots. Goes into the pocket, favours Hardwick, gets front position on Higgins.
It's an interesting option. I know Higgins was isolated one-on-one, pound for pound with Hardwick. Lots of big boys up front that you'd like to at least give them a chance and get the smalls at their feet.
The thing is with Hardwick, he's such a good body player against anyone of comparable size. He beats everyone his size or smaller.
Every time the ball's gone in a pack towards Max King, he's looked likely as well. He's kicked 4.
That's a downfield. Hawthorn player taken down.
Mitchell that was brought to ground. Downfield goes to Impey.
Used to be 50 metres. They brought that back now just to down the field.
Darting eyes from Impey. Really clever to Breust. Luke Breust is currently on a couple of goals for the afternoon. 498 for his career. Meeks in the contest. Let's head the back to Wilkie. Wanganeen-Milera. Hill was clever to just create a bit of space for himself. Butler's shoved out his man Mitchell.
He did well, Mitchell. 2 seconds before that ball came forward, he was behind his opponent and he just forged his way to the front position, and that panicked Butler into a hold. So they've got numbers back here, the Saints.
Day drives into the pocket. Howard. Back and across to Mason Wood.
One-on-one's ahead.
Signals he's got to go long and does that now. Set to Tarsa Sinclair. To this man Newcomb. He seems to meet every challenge.
We look at him, he's like a nuggety midfielder. He's 187.
Nash, Hardwick's got options, takes a very short one.
So this is the tough one they found all afternoon, Dal. This is not really a scoring kick, but they've struggled to retain it.
Webster kicked in a hurry, had a little bit more time than he thought. McDonald, the sub, gets himself involved. Weddle by hand. Impey from 50 pulls the trigger, Jarman. Impey! Tight, but I reckon it's home. No one quite sure. Umpire says it is.
Just raw power for Jarman Impey. They were trying to find a yard of space to release that kick. Weddle was trying to find his moment. Just a little bobbly kick here from Jimmy Webster, and then trying to be a little too cute, Mason Wood. So here's the opportunity. No, I can't get it. Goes back outside 50. That's a great finish off a step. Gets himself organised. Being able to kick across his body. 1, 2, bang. Great hit.
Three goals for the Saints for the term, 2 to the Hawks. It was the Saints by 4 at quarter time, square at half.
Wanganeen-Milera has slipped himself this quarter. He's been very good for the Saints off the wing.
On the way, Gresham. Liverpool has to give up 3 metres of ground.
He's coming up for disposal number 2 this quarter, Jade Gresham. Same as the skipper, Jack Steele.
Got Marshall on the lead. Big row. Spins it forward. Caminiti's behind. Might work out for him. Caminiti. Sicily with body. Crouch. Got a boot on it.
Wasn't pretty, Derm.
It's chaos.
Wasn't pretty.
Chaos.
Got the desired result. It's not how, it's how many. And they'll take the 6 points there, the Saints. So it's a dangerous kick from Rowan Marshall. No fuss. Ball slips over the back, which was a mistake from the Hawks defenders.
But if you look at it, it is the 3rd goal kicked this quarter for the Saints that has been just a long bomb to a dangerous spot that really should be killed by a defence.
Another look at that Sicily moment. Chose to bump. Even Crouch's attempted soccer didn't even hit the middle of his foot.
Shake of the head from the Hawthorn skipper.
I think it's that because he missed him.
No, dude. Not everyone thinks like you.
No one does, actually.
Society's probably better for it.
Cam Mooney does.
Not as much as Bell Chambers did. Well done to both those gentlemen for going way out on a limb.
Fantastic, weren't they?
Putting themselves in the ring.
So Koschitzke's got Wilkie. Big Lloyd comes up to lend assistance and give a block.
Koschitzke shoved underneath it. Patton.
Oh! Oh, that's fortunate.
Well, just to put that in context, both umpires were looking at each other.
Oh,
do you want me to call it? Do you want me to call it? No.
Yeah.
Throw it in.
And Patton looked at neither in the eye.
Yes.
Sing it away.
Yeah. Don't look at the umpire, I snicked it.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Then it was Newcomb. Gets on the footy. Says, Mason Wood, you can't catch me. Drives it inside. Meeks behind. And really well done by Butler, who's an impressive defender.
Yeah, well done to Dougal Howe. He just put the block on Big Lloyd. Just engaged the body so he couldn't get there.
Butler, Mitchell, Amon, Philippou, Newcomb.
Half hatches that. They've struggled on the outlet footy to that wing this quarter. Let's have a look at James as he slides past.
Doesn't look great. Caminiti's still going, which will be a positive for James Sicily.
Burns gets away from Butler. Sicily, Mitchell. Frost. Frost plays on. thinks about the options and goes a big high ball.
Sky ball.
Start defending.
McDonald.
One in the back.
Stocker, and passes out in front of Sinclair. He with the magnificent hair. Spins it back the other way. Hill takes it off Bramble, then runs into a big frame Koschitzke.
He was fortunate to get away with that, Brad Hill. He did well to stay in the contest with Bramble. Looks like he takes at least multiple steps and then accepts the tackle.
A more physical this quarter.
Newcomb, Day, creates a little bit of space for Nash. Clever hand pass inboard. The Hawks played it nicely. Day, can he hit a target inside? He's looking for the man out the back. McDonald coming back with a flight. Burns, spills free, goal for the Hawks. They worked it hard, got it to Butler, and the Hawks won't be denied.
I love that composure in front of the bench. Didn't want to just throw it on the boot, knowing that the Saints have got structure behind the football. Prepared to hold on to the footy until they eventually find Day, who's facing forward with a little bit of space. It's a great contest. Big Lloyd says, no, I'll handball it to a smaller, like all tall people should.
See,
it's a lovely finish.
With a bit of forward craft, Lloyd Meek marks that ball on the far side of the ground, because that's what the Day kicking was looking for, a lead out to that pocket. Yeah, Big Rowan Marshall's been much, much more physical on Ned Reeves in this second half. So let's see if he continues to slam into the body again and try and wear Big Ned down.
Dan Butler, 8 possessions and a goal. Sam Butler, his brother, younger, 10 possessions and a goal.
So Reeves is actually starting on the line next to Rowan Marshall and trying to take away his run and jump, something that Rowan's very good at. Trying to make it just a reaching contest.
Which Reeves is going to win.
Which he's hopefully going to win.
Well, if you're 7 foot, you can probably go with that theory.
Inside 50, long ball from Crouch. Frosty's waiting out the back. Higgins applies pressure. Amon. Clever ball. Butler.
She's had a good game, Carl Amon.
Yeah.
Hit targets. Coming out of the back line. They want to swap here. They've got extra numbers to the outside, this side of the ground.
Battle had his name on it as soon as it left the boot. Read it beautifully. Drops it back. The Saints will come through Hill. He's got a bit of space ahead of him. Oh, it's a risky ball. There's a 50-50. Might work out in the end. Stocker. Towards King. In the end, it smacked him in the cheek, I think, Maxie. Falls to Butler. Higgins. Higgins. He's going to enjoy this. Oh, it's marked on the line. Caminiti. Not sure Higgins will be pumped about it, but it's a goal in the book. And Caminiti is the one that had his name next to it.
Well, Derm, I think Caminiti's did the right thing. I think. The only bit I didn't like is he hasn't gone back and said thanks to Higo.
Look at the thank you from Higo. He's put out there and gone, yeah, well done, mate.
Something that Jack Higgins has done much better this year. He's been more selfless in front of goals. That's very clever. That's off a step on the non-preferred. And if you are in doubt, Caminiti should go for that football.
Yeah, that is true.
He did well to be at that initial contest and sneaks out the back. My only advice will get back and say thank you to the person that kicked it to you.
If only we had a camera on Higo right at that moment.
Goals in the book, though. It is now 5 goals for the term for the Saints. 3 to the Hawks. The Saints back out to a 9-point lead. Tight affair. It's been tight all day. Another centre clearance. Gets through everybody.
Oh, he's quick.
And he's an impressive young player, is Mitchell. And pass gets away. The Saints going to come back in a hurry here through Wanganeen-Milera. He goes towards King. Blank grabs an arm. Caminiti gets shoved to the ground.
Important minute and 19 seconds here, Howie. A goal all the way.
Butler, the Saints got too late to finish the half. Butler's ball works out nicely. Sharman takes the mark.
Once again, chaos kick out of the traffic. Forward plays in front. Little drop on the ball. Doesn't get much distance at all. but they've got to win out of the clearance there, which they haven't been able to do all that frequently today.
Picked up in the 2021 mid-season draft. Cooper Sharman playing his third goal.
Real breathing space, this one.
From directly in front, Sharman. There's a whistle.
I think it crept in, didn't it?
He was celebrating the goal. So I think it was going to be... it was going to be retaken if required, but it wasn't because Cooper put it through.
So the umpire's letting James Sicily know it would have been 50 metres. He jumped over the mark, which you're not allowed to do.
So the Saints kicked too deep at
second quarter.
Second quarter in Doom. You talked about the experience and the fitness of it, more experienced side. Now they've kicked too deep again.
So we have a look at this. Let's see if James does crib forward. The umpire's Johnny on the spot. For that.
Well, fortunately, it doesn't make a difference if the ball went through.
Are you judged forward when you're in the air? Or when your feet land on the ground?
I think it's when your feet land and the ball's already gone.
It's one of those moments here, just when you think you know every rule in AFL, you get asked a question like that you're not quite sure about.
Really? Anyway.
St Kilda get it out to a nice little gap now, 15 points.
Good clearance.
It's the biggest margin of the match. The Hawks just hanging in there. Nash went in with a big frame. Comes to Day. Seconds continue to tick down. Run down in the middle of the ground. Good pressure.
Did he get tackled though?
No, I think it's going to go to Will Day behind play.
Oh, right. I was surprised they were going to give Will
Because I was with you, Durham. That wasn't a tackle.
Clock's on 20 seconds. Last gasp for the Hawks. They drive it deep. Mitch Lewis gets a hand on it. Wilkie so good. Hand passes to space. Still time. Lewis loops it back. Warple. Nash. Misses. Coach can't believe it.
I'm having a laugh with him. 7-14. They're going at 33%.
Wanganeen-Milera, I imagine he'll have the last action in the quarter. He does. St Kilda by 4 at quarter time, square at the half. It's a 5-goal-to-3 term the way of the Saints. They lead it by 14 points, 11-4-70. Good kicking. Hawthorn 17-14, 56.
This moment to take a shot, and there are people who are playing forward who think, I'll get a better look at it than this with one more handball. They overuse it.
Dermot Brereton alongside Nick Del Santo, Sarah Jones. Saturday afternoon football. The Saints by 4 at quarter time, square at the half. And the Saints out by 14. A lot of work to be done for the Hawks. Saints looking for an 8th win of the season to really continue to push up the ladder.
It's a great kick.
Wobbling it forward. Hardwick punches it to Newcomb. Been Hawthorn's one of their best alongside Sicily, Nash, now Impey. Finds McDonald. Back to Bramble. Back to Newcomb. Called to go now. Side chipping kick inside. Howard managed to get rid of it towards Koschitzke. He somehow releases it back to Howard. Wilkie, always calm and a beautiful kick out of defence.
So that's a great defensive measure by the Saints. Deep defence inside 12 metres of the goal that drops. The ball drops. In the third quarter, that's a St Kilda goal in reverse. So they have the know-how once the ball gets to that position. Hawks couldn't get the ball through.
Talked about the kicking efficiency of Sicily. Have a look at the work that Wilkie does as well. He's going currently 16 disposals, 10 kicks at 100%. As the Hawks send it inside 50. Sorry, the Saints. Ross comes back with it. Squaring ball. Butler's in position. Spoil infringed against Mitchell.
Boy, just overcommitted, got a little bit too narrow.
Can I just go back to the one? Seb Ross is a left footer. And Jarman Impey runs to protect him against coming back onto his right foot. If you've played 150 games of footy, you can't allow Seb Ross his left foot in that position.
Left footers have a knack of finding their left foot more than their right, Derm.
You've just got to corral him.
Dan Butler's kick one, his brother's kick one for the Hawks. Just what the Saints need to start the term. And he just steers it home, does Dan Butler. And it's out to a game high now, 20 points.
Well, it's a nice finish as Ross Lyon takes a small breath of relief. It wasn't his most convincing kick, Dan Butler.
So watch here, and Impey guards the right foot. See? That's just... If you're Jarman Impey and you've played 160 games, you've got to know your opponent's wants.
Trying to guard the corridor getting stepped, which put Mitchell in a tough position.
It's a good jump at it by Butler as well in the end anyway. Nice finish.
So an area of the third quarter that Saints got back in control is around the stoppages. Now it's the Hawks' opportunity.
Last 3 goals and 4 of the last 5 going the way of St Kilda. Wilday burst forward out of the contest. Good contest there. Lewis. Breust, he's kicked 2. Luke Breust steps through. Thought he could have almost had a shot. Gave it across to the big man who pops it through. So Mitch Lewis replies courtesy of Breust. And the Hawks get one back. Lewis with 3.
Well, that goes back to the centre square bounce, Derm.
Yeah.
And that's Will Day coming out the front of the stoppage again. And he's such a good ball user. He's almost a laconic style. You don't realise how fast he's moving because he looks like he's doing it in 2nd or 3rd gear. So there's the initial give, and then he's gone. Brad Crouch can't touch him. Puts immediate pressure on that defence of the Saints.
He did well, Mitch Lewis, then. I thought he was going to get shoved under the ball by Dougal, but he was still able to at least make a drop of the footy and then follows back up. Well, Dougal controls that situation right there. Goes for the big swipe to the boundary. Doesn't get all of it.
Coach enjoyed a good boy. So Mitch has got 3 after his 6 last week. Bruce has got a couple himself. Through Nash, not through Sinclair. Throws it onto the boot any which way. Mitchell got front position. Didn't quite get as much of his fist on it as he would have liked. Works out though to Bramble. Now Impey tracking back and squeezing it out to Sicily on the City side.
And that forced the Saints to have a different setup at that centre square bounce. Set up a triangle that's defensive, which means nothing can come out the front.
Sicily. Wilkie, Crouch. Sharman came in from the side against Frost. Caminiti, Gresham, Max King. Max has got 4, steps around a couple. Hands it back again, flying shot. Off target with the boot of Gresham.
Hawks' deep defenders have changed their strategy against the Saints, especially on that one. They all played 2 metres defensive side, goal defensive side of their opponent, almost conceding a short hitter, but whereby in the 3rd quarter they were really hurt by that long ball, and it was a big chaos scrap up. So inside, just... So they're not going to enter into the chaos scrap again. They want to keep everything in front of them.
Sicily coming up for possession number 30. Drops it short, not his best. They turn it over. Sinclair, they'll get them the other way here. And Butler is on the end of another one.
Well, they're a very good front half turnover team, the Saints, number 4 in the comp.
But that's scoreboard pressure.
Yep.
James Sicily knows that, hey, we can keep defending here, but we've got to attack to close this margin. So he's forced to try and bite something off. Plays onto the midfield, gets shut down because King's so quick. Great defensive man in the mark, and it forces a turnover under pressure.
Kick the opening goal of the term to Dan Butler. Just eases it forward and just the wrong side of the big post. Sicily just drives it all the way down the middle in the path of Lloyd Meek and Marshall. Meek brings it to ground, a Warple. Day has got
Good
Hill
pressure.
on his hammer and did affect the kick.
Well done, Hilly.
There's a lot said about Brad Hill, but his improvement with the chase and the pressure, he may not be the best tackler in the competition, but geez, he chases from behind and puts perceived pressure on the ball carrier.
Up to 16 disposals now. A triple premiership player. Ross, left foot winder forward. Frost comes in from the side. King slaps it forward. Back to Sicily. Never seems hassled or hurried or pressured James Sicily. Well done by Webster. Back to Hill. Steele, nice little step. And Sicily drops a rare opportunity. Goes back at ground level to Frost. Scoops out a hand pass to Mitchell. Blank. Mitchell. Ooh, works out to Hardwick. Just.
This is when I love watching the Hawks, because they're flirting now. They have to attack, and it's enjoyable to watch.
They are through Bramble. Koschitzke takes 2. The Saints win the ball. Ross got it from Wilkie. Wanganeen-Milera. He actually stops. The game stops. Takes a little bounce. Waits for them to come at him, and they don't.
Well, he's just waiting for somebody to present.
And they do in the form of Big Rowan Marshall. By hand, back to the man that gave it to him. Wanganeen-Milera. Blank through his hands. Mitchell. Hardwick. Clever little kick. To Moore. Warple. He's got Impey. So you're going to have company from Steele.
This will be interesting.
Howard and Breust. Howard made contact before the ball got down there and really outpointed Luke Breust in that particular marked contest.
Yeah. Got a good big man against a good little man. We know the result.
Steele to the Medallion Club side.
He's starting to get to work, Rowan Marshall. He's a great athlete. Starting to work Lloyd Meeker around.
Hill's short ball is cut off. Moore wanting the hand pass option, gets it now. It's an opportunity for the Hawks, half forward, big high tackle.
He cashed in on that Liam Stocker, didn't he? He thought, no, if you're going to do that, he tipped the shoulder at him. He said, oh, I'm going to get full toed odds here.
And it's also allowed the Saints to get back behind the football.
We've got 2 options for the ball from Nash. One of them is Weddle.
So there's 4 Hawks huddled up at top of the goal square.
He just bombs it long, hoping for the big grab. Lewis is down there, got hands to it. Breust somehow extracts the footy. The Saints win the battle, though. Hurried kick out of defence. King does well to keep it in front of himself. Day tried to scoop it on the pick-up on the way through. Mitchell. Impey's already kicked one long goal. Gets around one man, Impey. This would bring the crowd to their feet. But it just slides wide off the boot of Jay Impey.
So you look at that view there. When the ball came out, everybody was in that view. There's nobody out wide. If you're a Hawk forward and you see that ball, when the ball's in the air, you know whether it's going to be turned around. Get wide. The defenders will stay in the channel.
Stocker, Filippo. Wanted to go to Wood. Shut down that option. Good fist from Frost. Worth a kick through everybody. All the way back to the accurate one, Wilkie. And hits yet another target by foot. 19 disposals. Kicking efficiency 100% for Wilkie.
Never overkicks it.
Swims between the flags, doesn't he? Just knows what he's capable of. Gets it to better ball users and then gets back to defending.
The other thing is he's capable of playing on much bigger opponents who can't get to him and put pressure on him.
Marshall set himself in the marking contest. Spits out the side to Steele. Quick hand pass back to Marshall. Tackled as he went to kick it. Hill through his hands. Weddle's at the back. Aim on, that's a clever outlet kick to Butler, who's kicked one. And his brother's kicked a couple.
Great smother. Well done, Liam Stocker. Easy at this time of game to just feign like you want to get it, but yeah, you can get a broken finger or a sprained thumb or anything out of that type of smother.
Coming up next, Jezza and the Cats take on Toby and the Giants down in magnificent Geelong.
They're not the Giants anymore, they're Toby and the Giants.
Yeah, they are Toby and the Giants.
Like a band.
He's certainly your front man, T. Green.
Oh, yeah.
The ultimate entertainer.
So Geelong versus the Giants, and a quick cup of tea. Gold Coast versus the Bulldogs. For West Coast versus Essendon for your dinner. That's your night tonight. Steele drops into the pocket towards King.
It's not a bad kick, that one. Just the more experience with Frost just works.
Get a feeling doing the next goal is pivotal. St Kilda kick it. You feel like it's almost game over. Hawks kick it. They are right back in it.
Margin the same as it was at three-quarter time, 14 points. Lloyd grabs it out of the ruck. King's in a dangerous area. Sicily as he softened his players roll defender, then a little spiral. Straight to Impey.
How
Might be 50. No, 50.
Just a little 25-metre torp. Newcomb, the Poo-Wong fly, kicks to a one-on-one. Follows up his own work, does Newcomb. Hill, body lines the footies, caught by Koschitzke.
Now he's cradled the ball. He's got one arm pinned, and he's taken on the tackler.
Into Clark, subbed out with a knee. No injury concerns for the Hawks.
Another torp.
Subbed out, 2 torps in the passage. Goes to Mitch Lewis, who is a big kicker.
That could hurt his knee.
Yeah.
That could really hurt his knee, that action. Yeah, he's a little sore at that. It really, what do you call it, hyperflexed, is it? When you go down, the knee bends to its full extent. Let's have a look at the right knee. And there, like that. And that's why he flicks out of it.
He's kicked 3 as Mitchell Lewis.
He got out of jail there.
Just to really tighten things up. Take his best here, Mitch Lewis. Gets very close to the man on the mark. Drifts out right now. Sends it long and deep. At the distance, but not quite the accuracy as he rues the missed opportunity.
24 scoring shots to 17.
51 inside, 50s to 40. Away of Hawthorn. Wanganeen-Milera places the ball towards Wood. Hardwick. Wood. Back to Moore. Burns got an important hand on it. Webster always there when required. Bit of showtime there from Wood. Tapped it down. It should be a free kick the way of the Saints. Higgins got one in the back.
Yeah, he's a good bloke, Jimmy Webster, just creeping around the back there.
Ross steps around his man. Sicily. Yet another intercept mark to Weddle. Some game he's playing the Hawthorn skipper, Bramble.
Well, that'll make Lloyd work.
Big Lloyd. Oh, he slips over. Lloyd!
He's fatigued him.
He's okay, though. Makes it tough for McDonald.
Well, he did everything right, Lloyd. He got to the open side. He knew he was the overlap. He was looking for Weddle.
He's run away from the stoppage too. He's had enough.
Either of you two watch Entourage?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Lloyd.
He had one of those moments. It was
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Ari was looming.
Even numbers around this stoppage.
Bramble. Piercing ball forward. Finds a little bit of space, but Wilkie is
So
there.
there you go. See, that's Wilkie running away from Meek there. So that's why his disposals are always pretty good. You get someone like Meek, he can mind him in the air, but he has the dexterity and the speed to get away and not be pressured on the disposal.
To a contest. How many intercept marks has Sicily taken, Derm?
A couple of hundred.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just keeps getting in the way.
33 disposals, 19 kicks, 14 marks. How many of the actual intercepts? Dale knows how to drive the system.
Find out for you.
Hawks send it forward in the path of Lewis. Fisted away from him. McKenzie. Met solidly. And it stacks on. Worked the iPad hard. Sinclair.
Born in the wrong era.
Well, you've got past your login, Derm, so you're on
I'm
the right
beating you.
path. That's exactly right. Higgins can't keep the ball in play.
Just to put this game in context in regards to the inside 50, 51 to 41, so it's plus 10 to the Hawks. Shots from outside 30, so 30 or plus metres. 5 goals to the Saints. The Hawks 3 goals 11. That's
So
the contest.
James Sicily, 15 intercept possessions, 34 possessions in total.
And 6 intercept marks. Make that 7.
You can do anything now, can't you, in the back? That is so in the back, it's not funny.
Impey in space. Bramble, tough one coming back over his shoulder. He just shrugs away from Hill. Now there's a bit of run on for Hawthorn. Still in the game. McKenzie runs into trouble.
That'll hurt him.
Steele gets his man. He's a bit slow to get up, McKenzie. In fact, he's still not up. Impey gets shoved off the footy. Gresham. Now the Saints have got an option going forward. Philippou. He's well spoiled. Keeps his feet though. Butler in a dangerous position. Bangs it deep. Oh, Higgins drops it. Sicily be all over him. Higgins can't believe it.
He will have a conniption, Higo. He doesn't even want to chase now. Seamus Mitchell went down on that play on the half-back flank, still in the hands of the trainer. Injury-prone lad for 2 years. Let's hope he's all right.
Could have been the knockout blow, but it got away from Higgins, unfortunately, for the Saints.
Oh, those small forwards that we've enjoyed today from both teams, Derm. He was
free
off
kick
to the races, Higo. Off to the races. He was all by himself in forward 50, just waiting.
Oh, we got a free kick out of the blue here. A hold, I believe it was.
Saints looking to finish the game. Another one for Sicily.
Legitimate mark. That's just strength. Pushes his man off the ball. That's a great kick again. Just lowers the eyes, pulls the kick.
Mr. Lloyd.
Lloyd, you got one-on-ones ahead. Use them.
More Nash. Look at the size of the man. He just shrugs off Webster. Ran into a block of granite. Sends it to McDonald. Good grab. Good grab. Now things are tightening up.
Oh, they could they? They aren't getting their shots at goal, but as you see on that scoreline, 8-16.
That hasn't been their issue, getting it there, Derm. It's been this last piece. You expect this to be almost tapped in from McDonald.
I'll tell you, the Connor Nash possession was so important. Normally that player goes to ground with that secondary contact and then you've got to stop and reload. But the size of the man, the encroaching player bounces off him end to ground.
And the Dandenong Stingrays. McDonald pops it home. And now it gets really tight on the scoreboard.
He doesn't like it, Rossi. I don't think he's panicking, but he doesn't like it one bit. So it starts at the other end. Let's have a look at this. Higo, he started it. Count the chickens before the eggs hatched. Now watch this kick here. Connor Nash, Webster. Most blokes knock the marking player to ground and then you have to reload. There's an extra 3 seconds on the play. But because he's so big, he rides that contact, he plays on, and that's why you get a one-on-one out the back.
So Hawk have kicked 2-1 for the term in the last 2 goals of the match. After the Saints kicked 3 prior to that, they led by 14 at three-quarter time. Back to an 8-point margin. Massive clearance coming up.
Oh, they're opening. It's centred around the stoppages today, isn't it?
Marshall, Meek, Newcomb.
That's high.
He threw his hands back, Lloyd, because he knew he was in trouble.
Yep, his hip did the damage. It's a free kick all day long.
Marshall's been fantastic today, big row.
Had a big grab here from one of the Saints forwards.
Caminiti out the back. Sharman, Sicily. Barrel, second barrel of the day from Sicily.
It's going to hit the ground.
Battle tracks it back. Spits a forward hand pass out. Hawks have got numbers around the ball. Is out.
As much as it seems a rare, it doesn't seem too unusual. When a ball gets kicked 50 metres out of defence and there's players in the vicinity and it hits the ground, somebody's not reading it right in the air. I know it was a mongrel kick. That's a hold. Yeah.
And the way Reeves. Needs to give it back in a hurry, Marshall.
You got close to the outside here. Oh, you've got to hit that. He's put him under pressure.
Making it tough for Moore. He's good enough to get out of it momentarily. McDonald goes back to Sicily.
It's good work for them. It could really open it up out the other side now.
Got a few out there in the form of Weddle, which is where Hardwick goes now. Another missed hand pass. Butler will be on this.
It's quick with it.
Gets away from him. Just holding on here, the Hawks. They've made a mess of a few handballs, but they should still get an opportunity to move forward. It's an in-stepper through everyone. Chaos ball. Underground hand pass towards the dangerous one, Bruce. Battle did well not to give away a free kick.
He did really well not to give away a free kick. Put his hands in the air, so there was no too high. Used his body to make the initial contact. Very, very clever.
Breust to be dangerous around the face. Spits it out to Day, gets a little bit of space, creates more for himself. Will Day floats it forward across the face. Stays in play. Just creates that little bit of space, Will Day, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's got that good peripheral vision at the last moment of disposal. He's one who can go into the action of a kick, see the danger encroaching from the side, stop and sidestep.
Dangerous position for the Saints. The ball hits turf. Burns, important kick out of defence. Jarman, Impey's in best position. A lot of players ahead of the footy. The leads come. The big boys want it deep. He sees something in the pocket. It's a perfectly weighted kick. Moore does play on. Here's a big finish. All of a sudden, under the roof, it's a two-point affair.
Well, Rossi wasn't happy before. I reckon he might be pushing the button now.
Absolutely, Derm. But it was great play by the Hawks. That was a really clever kick from Impey. He took the intercept mark just outside 50, and most teams, most players will go to the top of the goal square. He identified Moore one-on-one with Stockett just in front of him. It's a really well-weighted and clever kick.
And sums this up very well.
Moore does well. Once again, not to go to ground, keeps his feet.
So the one thing I'd go with Patton, coming out of defence, and it's only a micro adjustment, but to kick a tumble punt when he could have as easily kicked a drop punt with a lot of elevation and allowed his man upfield to get to the contest.
Tight on the boundary line, but play on. Hawks have kicked the last three to bring it back to a two-point margin. Sort of come from nowhere. You felt the Saints had the measure, and then bang, bang, bang.
Well, if Higo gathers that ball in the goal square, runs in, done.
Well, they've only been inside forward 59 times, so they've kicked 3 goals to this quarter, the Hawks.
Another clearance for the Hawks through the beast that is Newcomb. Finds aim, and now the Hawks got all the running. Problems for the Saints. Sends it deep forward in the path of Mitch Lewis. Gets hands on it. Koschitzke's at the fall. The ball's a hurry kick out defence, and it works out nicely to the hill.
So it looks like Mason Woods dropped back behind the footy for the Saints. He'll be the extra defender.
Well, that only means he's going to go back in there more often than not. So they've got to try and play possession. He's got to run forward with it now.
Crouch for distance.
It's a half hold there to King.
Sicily doesn't mark it. Still gets the footy though. Back to Sicily. This is an important kick. It's a good kick too today. He'll want to go immediately by hand. He does. McDonald jinking his way through the middle of Marvel.
He saw Wilkie down the line. He's controlling everything forward of this footy, Callum Wilkie.
We've got a man forward of the footy. That's Moore. Here's the important kick. Doesn't really time it, but it'll work out. Koschitzke's missed a couple of opportunities, but he'll line up from 46.
Nick Del Santo has vacated his post, walked away in disgust.
I'm just posing the question, Dern, when you've got 2 extra players behind the football for the Saints, there you find a lead-up target.
What's he got today, Jacob? No goals too, you called it.
Missed a couple of opportunities to make it 4 in a row for the Hawks. Koschitzke, huge kick this one.
Bad.
Koschitzke, 2 arms in the air. The Hawks from nowhere are in front with the last 4. They besiege Koschitzke, 1:24 on the clock.
Well, most Saints supporters be thrilled if they hear a Koschitzke kicking a goal, but not today, Derb. Not today and not right now. That was a brilliant kick through the middle of the ground from Carl Amon. Aggressive, brave and well executed.
But McDonald's, see, up the other end, left-hand side of screen, and you'll also see Wilkie behind there. That's why they had to go sideways, so they played it very well, the Hawks.
They did. They created a space to allow Koschitzke to come back up at the football. Yes, he loves it.
Right, who's in the middle? Big guns required now. Crouch is in there alongside Warple. Reeves, Marshall, Nash is in there. Gresham, he might flow onto it here. Gresham alongside Steele.
Did well.
Here's a chance. Drives it forward, doesn't really time the ball. Sicily repels yet another attacking thrust. Moore's got room. Puts it back in the path of Sicily's collected the other way. Commitment from players on both sides.
That is great footy. Stocker had eyes for the ball. There was always the easy one there to take the cheap shot, but Liam Stocker, fantastically well done, son. Played the ball. Great footy, great gutsy footy from both players.
Minute 6 on the clock. Warple bangs it inside. Breust! Luke Breust takes the mark with a game on his boot. He's lining up for career goal 499, and he'll take every second available.
There's only two of us commentating. Our third man up here has just walked away in disgust.
I'm a big Luke Breust fan, dude, and that was a brilliant grab. They had to go one-on-one behind the football, the Saints.
Well, they got to.
Got to try and find a way to create a goal. This is the consequence.
He's kicked so many of these goals in a long career, Luke Breust. To ice the game for the Hawks. Breust from directly in front. Luke Breust was never going to miss. Time ticks. Hawks look home. 5 in a row for Hawthorn from nowhere to stun the Saints.
So now it's just into save the game mode from the Hawks structurally at this next centre square bounce.
Gee,
it's just a great, yeah, right, dude. It's just great positioning.
But if you look at the last 4 to 5 minutes, Hawthorn's run through the lines has been exceptional. We call it, they were taking risks because they have to. They were behind, so they played exciting football. It's not dour football, it's exciting, and it's game-winning football, and it's paid off for the first time in the afternoon. Back on the Saints now.
14-point lead. St Kilda had at three-quarter time. The Hawks lead it by 10. Hasn't happened, Dal.
Well, it's been brave. There's no doubt about the Hawks' performance, but we've looked at the statistics throughout the course of the day. They have actually dominated and controlled the majority of it, apart from conversion.
Warple bangs it forward. Breust in the zone, doesn't quite get to him. Could still. McDonald tries to hack the ball forward. Siren! The Hawks in a big upset. They kick the last 5 to come from the clouds. The Hawks have won 2 in a row, and they have stunned the Saints at Marvel.
Sustenance when you win and you're swimming against the tide for a lot of the season. I feel fantastic for James Sicily, who's been recruited in 2013, so 10 seasons, and he's given his all today, James Sicily, and he's got a little bit of that sustenance. A win which will make him buoyant. He gets to talk to his teammates as captain, a winning captain against a much, much higher fancy team today.
Sarah Jones is out in the middle. Jonesy!
I've got Luke Breust with me. Luke, you've kicked a lot of goals in your career, but talk to me about number 499 to seal the game for the Hawks.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Obviously, plenty of numbers around the stoppage. Warps, gets a nice surge out and falls in my lap. I actually wasn't sure. I didn't know whether to pass it again to try and soak up another 30 seconds, but I thought kicking the goal would be a better option, so fortunately I did that.
5 goals in a row to come from the clouds. Where did that come from?
Oh, I think our belief has been there throughout the whole game. I thought we were on top for a majority of the game. They owned it a little bit with uncontested marks and things like that, but I thought in general we were right in it and things just had to click. I think we've kicked 12 goals, 16, so when you have that many shots, I think eventually something's going to click, and fortunately it did in the last quarter.
You have played with some pretty incredible leaders and some pretty incredible skippers over your journey at Hawthorn, but just a word on James today. He was enormous.
I thought he'd be the one taking this interview, to be honest. He was amazing. His ability to mark and intercept mark and then pull the defence apart with his feet. It was just, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. A huge captain's game, and he's been building, I think, a little bit of pressure early in the year, captain and things like that, but the last month of footy that he's put together has been pretty special.
How big was the win last week in setting up the momentum for today? How much confidence and belief did you get from it?
Yeah, the confidence comes on the back of the system you want to play. So we know the system we want to play. Unfortunately, against really, really good sides, it can break down. So to get confirmation last week that we're doing things well, we're starting to use the ball a bit better, we're using the open side of the ground, it is nice to build some momentum within the footy club, and then today to do this was so good.
I was watching you on the bench late in the game before you came out for your last stint, talking to all the guys. Do you really feel your role as the most experienced player in the team to be able to calm the farm and keep everyone cool?
Yeah, you do. There's been moments this year we haven't been able to do that. It can get a bit overawed in the last parts of games. So I knew exactly what we wanted in this game. We had a number up at the stoppage. I knew that they'd always take a spare. They got some quality defenders down there. So just trying to get all those pieces in a row was, it can be difficult, but yeah, fortunately we pulled it off.
All right, we want to see goal number 500 next week. Thanks, Luke. We'll call the skipper over now. James Sicily, who was incredible across halfback. James, when I spoke to you at halftime, you said you're doing a lot of things right. You just needed a bit more scoreboard pressure. Well, it came.
Yeah, we definitely made it hard, but, I mean, the last two set shots by the boys with Kosy and Punk, yeah, kicked it when it mattered most, so it's awesome. Two in a row, which is pleasing.
Is there anyone in the AFL you'd rather have ball in hand when you want to ice the game than Luke Breust? He is one of the best goal kickers we've seen.
How many did he kick today? 3?
So he kicked 3, so he's up to 499 now. You have to wait for the 500.
That would have been nice, little, if the 400th was the winner. Yeah, mate, he's been around. He knows how to kick goals. We love him. So, bloody oath, seal the game there.
So that winning feeling, you get it last week, and we know West Coast Eagles struggles, but a win's a win, and it was a big win, and a lot was right. How has that really paved the way for being able to move into this game?
Just sets up the week to be much more enjoyable when you win. There's a lot more energy on the track, and now that there's 2 in a row, and especially against Saints, who are a bloody good side, for the young guys to experience that and to experience a close game as well is great learning.
Your own game, the boys were marvelling at your work intercepts across half-back. How did you feel out there today?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. It's probably one of my better games. I've enjoyed the new role of sort of just playing on a smaller or taller and just positioning where I sort of want to. And, I mean, it only allows me to, only the reason I can do that is because of how good Weddle and Frosty and Blanky are doing playing tall. So, yeah, the defenders, they're working well together.
We were looking at the midfield numbers before the game. In the last 5 years or so, you've been ranked 17th for clearance. You're up to 3rd at the moment. So the fact the wins haven't been coming, but this midfield group is one that has a bright future. What are your thoughts on this group?
Yeah, clearance is great, and I think we're up there with centre bounce differential. So, I mean, it's a bit about a motivation. You know, we copped a bit of criticism for rejuvenating the midfield and getting some younger guys in. So, for them to be performing like that and proving some people wrong is it's a very sweet feeling.
So we're approaching that halfway mark of the season. What do you want to get out of this second half of the year?
Well, another 2 games like the last 2 before the bye. I wish we didn't have the bye coming up. We'd like to keep riding this momentum, but yeah, very pleased.
Well, so you should be. That was a fantastic effort. Go and enjoy it with the boys.
Thanks.
Thank you to Sarah and the Hawthorn skipper. The Hawks kicked the last 5 when Butler kicked the opener of the final term. St Kilda out to a 20-point margin. James Sicily, prior to today, a career-high 33 disposals. Today he had 42 disposals, including 15 in that last quarter. Lewis, McDonald, Moore, Koschitzke, Breust with the last 5 goals of the match. Luke Breust ends up the day on 499. Dermot Brereton, Nick Del Santo. What a finish.
An extraordinary finish, Nick Del Santo, wasn't it? In the end, the clearances were on parity, and that's what separated the 2 teams early in the game. The Hawks were so good around stoppage, but then when we assumed that St Kilda got their stoppage game together, we just automatically jumped to the conclusion they'd keep powering on, which early in the last quarter they were seemingly doing.
Absolutely. The stats and the scoreboard were conflicting almost throughout the course of the whole game. We spoke about the clearances, the contested possession, the inside 50s were all significantly in favour of the Hawks, yet the scoreboard was the opposite. So it was a weighted numbers performance. Now, did we see the last 5 goals going in favour of the Hawks? Absolutely not. Well, I was expecting the Saints to close that out.
Not in that manner, though.
Not in that manner, but that was a brave performance. We spoke about pre-game, and you mentioned, you said last week was great against West Coast. but they need to take a scalp. That's where you get more belief and more acknowledgement within your playing group of something tangible. We can do this, and I feel like that was their moment today.
So if we look at the first half, and they came in even at half-time, we thought Hawks had more shots at goal. They just didn't convert in as well as St Kilda did. But they did that on the back of stoppage.
Yep.
Those last 5 goals came out of the back half, and Hawthorn truly ran the game out better. Had nothing to do with stoppage in the last quarter, the last 5 goals. It was all about the way they ran through the lines. And James Sicily, those 42 possessions, 15 in the last quarter. They had no answer for him.
They had absolutely no answer for Sicily. He had multiple opponents. They were trying to position him in different areas to not allow him to have an impact on the game.
Hang on, we might go back there. The sign was up there, Dal. James Sicily, can I have your boots? And he's looking down at his feet. Oh, no, he's looking down. He is. Oh, James, he's made some
He's
going to sign them. Oh, well done, young man.
After you had 42, you probably keep them when you get a little bit superstitious.
You'd feel they were lucky for you.
Yeah, they were very nice. The bit I enjoyed about those numbers in the last quarter, Derm, is the Saints have been as good as anybody this year in defending the ball when it's in their forward half. They lock it in. They're a very good team. On the flip side, that's an area that the Hawks haven't been good in, being able to transition the ball from their defensive 50 to the other end of the ground, let alone score. And they did that multiple times in that last quarter. Look,
they're a young team. They're going to get scored against. They're going to get beaten again in the next few days, couple of weeks, whatever
They've got Port next week.
But they know what they're capable of now, and they are seeing different layers being added each week. So, young team, and they're learning the craft.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in having a tangible outcome. And it's really difficult to find those areas of improvement when you're losing from week to week, Derm. But what we've seen last week, yes, it was against the West Coast Eagles, but probably more evidently today, is there is a system that they know can work. They can look at Sam Mitchell in the eye this week and say, I know what you're talking about. I know why you keep mentioning these things throughout the course of the pre-season and every single week. And we just heard it there from James Sicily. I love when he speaks because it's such a contrast to what we think he is as a player. He's articulate, he's modest, and he actually has a really good understanding of the game and the team. But he said, that's our style of footy. That's how we want to play football. And yes, we'll make mistakes like everybody else, but we're just going to stick at it. And I really like that from the captain.
So you look at the way the Saints played today. Their midfield was down. Only Crouch came to the party after half-time. Seb Ross, 16. Jack Steele, 14 possessions. Yep. They couldn't get a handle on it, although their clearance work did get better after half-time. They couldn't find a massive numbers in there, could they?
I thought their mids were beaten today by the Hawks, but I thought Rowan Marshall was really good and improved, particularly in the second half and the last quarter. But what I loved about this group, and we spoke about them pre-game, they've got a great balance of just hard-nosed inside mids, the Hawks, with the Will Day polish, with a young Cam McKenzie coming through. So if you're a Hawks supporter, you're like, this is pretty good. I get to watch these young guys go to work and grow. Will Day, the amount of times he came out the front of a stoppage today was really impressive from a Hawks perspective. He uses the ball and has that sidestep, Derm, to really challenge defence. It was great to see.
Even the fact that he ran into the middle of the ground to receive that ball, dive for the chest mark, quick handball, that's risky play, but when you're behind, you have to do that. They're going to enjoy singing this, and I'm quite sure that there's a few Hawks supporters at home who are going to enjoy listening in. Well, the Hawks take it out by 10 points, Del, and as we keep hearing that word, sustenance. What about the Saints? Give us a quick word on the Saints. What does Ross focus on?
I think he just goes back to what he's always spoken about. We know it's around the team defence. They got cut up and sliced a few times by the aggressive ball movement of the Hawks. They're going to have a week off. They've earned the bye and then reset for the back half of the year.
Little bit off the last month, the Saints, haven't they, from that stingy first 6 week they have had. But there's the Hawks. They got up by